Hello and welcome everyone. After some short delays, we are going to go into a Division 1 match between Kaylee and Sphinx. I'm Kachka, joined by Kerryman. Hi man, how are you doing?
I would say that I'm doing well because I really have been until this point, but there have been some technical issues on our part, which we unfortunately have to apologize for. Luckily for us, we're still going to see a game played out. It's not really being FF'd or anything, so you know there's that silver lining, and hopefully it's gonna be a really nice match, really even one, I have to say, as we have already gone through the pro draft.
We have already gone through the pro draft, so I'm just going to run through the compositions. Not entirely sure if you can see them on the screen right now, but for the side of Sphinx, that is an Urgot, Zac, Lissandra, Xayah, and Rakan. Whereas for the side of Kaylee, it's Cyan, Gragas, Ahri, Kai'Sa, and Braum. So what do you make out of these compositions?
Well, what I make out of them is that it's gonna be a really boring early game, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, you will have a lot of kill pressure, especially in the bot lane and top lane, however, for Sphinx, at which point GoCommit can try to do something with this Zac pick. From Chimaera, we will likely see just scaling, and, well, scaling really alone, as Ahri has also decided to pick up Cleanse in the client itself. So did Lil Uzi, so that's likely not going to be a lane that too much happens in. But otherwise, well, it's gonna be a pretty calm match, you know, a really delicate one, if I have to say.
Yeah, it definitely will be. So let's talk about what we could just expect coming in. So GoCommit Jungle, the jungler for Sphinx, great name by the way. So far he has been very active, and his kill participation has been insane over the games. So I'm really looking for him to try and get leads in the early game, gank some of the lanes, especially that you've got that lovers duo in the bot side, which could set up a lot of kills.
And GoCommit really is one of the most important cogs in this entire Sphinx's lineup, and if he doesn't really show up today, well, Sphinx are gonna have a really hard time, as nowadays the meta is centered all around snowballing through the early game. And when you compare both these compositions, it's going to be tough for both of these teams to really try to pull ahead before the 20th minute. So really, our eyes should just be on GoCommit. Just let's look at how he paths, where he decides to go, and which lane he decides to visit soon, the top lane or bot lane.
Yeah, top lane, Urgot versus Cyan. You have the two bruisers, however Urgot can really bully that lane, and I'm looking for Mpaker to see if he can actually get some of these leads and become that very scary mid-game to late-game monster where you just pretty much run into an entire team, because whenever you play against Urgot, this is a prospect that you really need to keep in your mind, otherwise you will be just taken by surprise.
Well, Urgot, it can be relatively strong in the late game. I agree with you on that. However, he is a champion that heavily spikes around the mid game, specifically at around 2 items where he is almost unkillable. And that is the name of the story for the Sphinx's lineup in general. You will have Xayah, who is a really safe late game guarantee, I'm going to say. However, she also gets a lot of damage as soon as she finishes the Infinity Edge. So once you hit at least a couple of items on Xayah, Lissandra, and Urgot, you will have a really strong composition to try to bully the other enemy out of the game. However, at that point, I am going to be really looking at what Prompo decides to spec into, if he is going to go for more of AP or tanky build, because I'm really hoping that we're gonna see some AP Gragas shenanigans, because, well, I just want more damage in this game, to be quite frank.
Well, more damage will be very good. However, tell me, what do you think Prompo can do? We talked about how GoCommit will try to gank his lanes, and he's playing a Gragas that is a Predator, and there are certain lanes I'm mostly looking at that bot side potentially, maybe top side with the Sand set up post 6. What are we looking at for him to gank? Where does he try to make his mark on this game?
So where we can be looking at him to really go is the mid lane. He will have a lot of damage there, as well as some nice little setup. However, both of the mid laners have decided to opt for the cleanse, so they will have some, you know, survivability in there. However, if he decides to go for the traditional route, which is just clear one side of your jungle and then run back for the predator boots, he can get a really early gank in, maybe even before level 6, before Lil Uzi can get his eyes on that Glacial Tomb. And at that point, he doesn't have really too many escapes, because if Gragas times his body slam well enough, there is really no way that Lissandra can utilize her claw to try and jump away. So once again, I believe that is going to be the main avenue that he's going to be looking at this game from.
Alright guys, just for your information, we are in the game, however that is a pause, so it is not showing up on your screens right now. From what it seems like, the players are now slowly getting ready to unpause, so we should be going finally into some matches fairly soon. As we have already stated, really the early game is not somewhere we can expect teams to find any leads. So let's maybe talk about the mid game. Assuming that no team really finds any major advantage, which of these compositions would you favor once the 15 to 20 minute timestamp strikes?
So around that timestamp is going to be pretty even, given that you will have the Xayah and Lissandra with Urgot on the lineup of Sphinx, and you will have to compare it to Ahri and Gragas on the side of Chimaera. So it's going to be really even. However, the side of Sphinx will have more direct engage in the form of, well, Lissandra and Zag jumping in. Chimaera, they have nice setup in the mid game as well. However, they might be lacking some damage, as Hivian decided to opt into the Cleanse instead of the Ignite. I want to point that out once again. Cleanse is an aggressive summoner spell, so he isn't looking to snowball his lane, which is something that Ahri desperately needs to do if she wants to be relevant. So if all things go really even, I do believe that it's going to be the lineup of Sphinx that is going to be having an easier time, as Hivian is just getting chunked to half HP already as soon as the minion waves runs over to the mid lane. That just feels bad.
Definitely not the greatest start in the lane. We'll have to see if Lil Uzi can really punish it. However, that is a Lissandra, not really a pick that is known for having early game lead, so Hivian might just get away with that. And you mentioned the engage for the side of Sphinx. We also have Viga on the Rakan. Let us not forget how strong that champion can be in that mid game. And on the other side, Godfrey will provide that crucial disengage. So this is also something that shows the slight stylistic differences in this composition. Kaylee, yes, they have engaged with the Cyan, but their team composition is also nicely tuned towards disengaging any fights that Sphinx will try to pick.
Yeah, there really are just slight little discrepancies between these two compositions. However, I am really looking at what Viga together with Birdie, formerly known as E-Girl, glad to see her, you know, running away from that name, what they can do pre-level 6 as of right now.
There's a fight in the bot lane. The concussive blows will not quite connect, and Godfrey is getting ignited, has to flash away. A lot of damage going down onto Kaylee's bot lane. The ignite will be expended, traded for the flash on Godfrey, but no kills go into either side.
And that is really important that at least things won't be snowballing for now. However, taking a flash away from either of the bot laners of Chimaera is super important. Even though Godfrey will have that flash up before he hits level 6, it now opens up GoCommit to try and snowball that bot lane, which he in normal circumstances wouldn't be able to do so, just because he wouldn't have the best of setups, but now that route is open for him.
Definitely is. Now if you look at the minimap, you see Prompo, he will be recalling back to base and he will get his Predator boots. GoCommit is currently sitting on a level 3 Zac in the jungle of Prompo, so both of the junglers now, they are getting their tools necessary in order to start ganking the lanes. So in the next few minutes we will be really looking at where they can make their impact, which lanes are overextended for either of these teams, and how they can utilize that.
And right now you're talking about overextension. However, I want to point your attention over to the creeps. Especially in the mid lane. Hivian really managed to, well, savor the situation.
Look at the top side though, GoCommit has to burn his flash, he will get slowed by the roar of the Slayer, but nothing happens now. Godfrey in the bot and he has got no flash, already 100 HP. However, the Unbreakable will make sure that he makes it out under his turret. Tensions are starting to slowly heat up as both of these teams are just trading some minor blows.
Unbreakable will really having come in clutch in that little skirmish, making sure that so much damage was just mitigated. Both of these AD carries do not have the biggest amount of damage in the early game, so Braum at this point is going to be really strong, especially given that he's going to be maxing the Unbreakable, at least in the first amount of levels. So they're going to be really happy to just, you know, try to survive, but so far a lot of good pressure being developed in the bot lane by the lineup of Sphinx.
The dragon that is spawning will be the Ocean, not quite the Infernal, but whenever there is a priority we have to look at that bot side of the map and what the teams can get out of any potential aggression, as there's even more damage going on to KZZ, and with all that tempo advantage Sphinx, they could very well be looking to just take complete control over the bot side jungle.
They are dealing at least some damage over to that turret as well, so they will likely get at least a couple of platings. Come some time, KZZ is completely out of mana and is sitting at half HP, so him staying in that lane right now is a gamble as well. And level 6s will be hit in about 3 to 4 minutes, I'm going to say, by the bot laner. So if he decides to stay in lane for that long, well, he may find himself in a really in a pickle.
Nizik is very low. Flash force from Impaker. Respawn flash from Nizik in that top side will mean that no kill goes down. Now look at the mid lane. Hivian goes in with the Spirit Rush. He chases Lil Uzi as well, but not quite enough damage. And Lil Uzi makes it out. Oh, here goes the Fear Beyond Death and the pullback from Impaker. He gets the first one, but Prompo in the jungle. Gets also a return kill onto the mid laner of Sphinx. And Impaker falls down to Nizik's passive. Okay, what just happened here?
So in the mid lane, Hivian managed to, despite the terrible start at the beginning, get the level 6 first. He utilized the Spirit Rush effectively and chunked Lil Uzi so much. Prompo just came in and finished the job. He had to expend his flash, however, that is to be expected. And then Nizik just somehow managed to kill Impaker. And well, that isn't the best of starts. If you're God, if you manage to kill that Scion, you shouldn't be going forwards in the lane and have him behind you if you're on quarter HP. You should just run away, man. But regardless, the top lane situation will remain even for now.
It will now. Prompo, he might get invaded in his own jungle. Vigor tries to jump forward, but the Smite will just secure the Gromp right here. And even though there were so many kills, the game is still even. At the 7 minutes, we see some CS leads, mainly in that top lane and bot lane in favor of Sphinx. And the mid lane, it is pretty much even. I'm mostly really impressed by the fact that we have now seen this lovers duo in this game get the pressure down in the bot lane and utilize it to develop a CS lead.
And it is something that you should always expect from the lovers duo if it goes unpunished and is also laning against such a passive lane as Braum and Kai'Sa. However, it really tells you that this team is at least capable of knowing what they have to do with their individual picks, and that's really nice to see, because sometimes you just see a really aggressive bot lane go super passive, and that's not always fun to watch, because then, well, it's never gonna go well. It just doesn't work.
Yeah, you need to be aggressive when you have an aggressive bot lane, and I'm happy to see Sphinx being able to just do just that. But right now the game still is even. We saw Hivian trying and attempt a roam towards that bot side, and if you look at the vision, neither team really has any dominance right now.
However, the bot lane of Sphinx is just dominating the vision at the bottom side of the jungle. They were able to spot Hivian from miles away, and so it was really difficult for him to, well, do anything in the bot side. Now they may look to do something in the top, as Impaker and
Ghostface is actually teleporting in with that spell look, and Impaker is in a 1 versus 2, has got no flash available. He flips back Prompo, but the charm will seal his fate, or will it? Prompo finally secures it with an empowered auto attack. The second kill going in for the Gragas.
Yeah, I was scared a bit there. However, it was a really big overextension from Gokumid and Impaker. They just got greedy. They wanted that kill on Nizik. However, they completely forgot that they did not have Lil Uzi in the mid lane, that he had gone back without pushing the wave, which meant that Hivian could just freely roam in the top lane. And you also have the teleport from sorry you also have the teleport viable, so it was just a bit of a misstep from these two players.
Definitely now Nizik is trying to run away from Mpaker. He doesn't have flash nor his own ultimate, but the Blastcon will be there. And something that I want to pay your attention to is Godcry is running that unsealed spell, and we just saw him utilize that teleport to roam up into the top side.
And his teleport is the main summoner spell of his, so it wasn't even utilized. Yeah, it wasn't even utilizing the main.
Ooh, Prompo definitely caught out. He's just gonna get knocked up and bursted down. The shutdown going into Vigor's pocket, and Sphinx find themselves a pick.
And this is precisely what happens when you draft yourself a really aggressive bot lane, and it's something that you have to do if you are going to want to develop so much pressure there. The bot side is completely blue when you look at vision control.
You only have got those two control wards, and now the dragon will be just attempted by Goku mid jungle. He should be able to very easily secure it. Hivian, he's stuck on clearing wards. Prompo just making his way from the base, and the bot lane for the side of Chimaera cannot really make it out of their turret. Now Vega, he tries to go in with the Grand Entrance, but alas, there is the Ocean Drake secured by the team of Sphinx.
Right now, you do have more kills on the side of Chimaera, however, Onyx are really dominating them, at least with how they are supposed to be playing the game out. The only kills that came from Chimaera have been reactive plays to missteps that Sphinx have made, which itself is good that they are capitalizing on their opponents' mistakes. But they really have to start trying to do something with Prompo, with Hivian. As Hivian, he doesn't have any kills to his name, and he isn't really near finishing the Luden's Echo at 10 minutes in the game.
He does have the 2 assists, but as you mentioned, that isn't really quite a lot, only a marginal 200 gold lead over his lane opponent, so that isn't the place that you want to be as an Ari. And as you said, as we will be nearing towards that mid game, the side of Sphinx do look better if the game is even, and it is all but uneven.
Well, there are some little leads being developed by both teams. In the mid lane, well, Lil Uzi, he's just having a fun time, you know, just clearing the waves out. He has died once, however, that isn't going to be troubling him too terrifyingly much. What should be terrifying him is Prompo. He will be getting a really good power spike now when he finishes that enchantment. He will also have those Zork shoes prepped and ready, and he'll just be dealing so much damage, especially if he decides to go for something even more damage focused. Maybe something like that Hextech Proto Belt. We'll have to see what he decides to opt into.
Prompo could as well just go for the tank after those 2 items, but the point still stands. He will have a lot of damage after that spike. Now some plates taken in the top lane by Mpaker, and as we are slowly approaching this game, actually I will hold that thought because Hivian tries to go aggressively onto Lil Uzi, who is on 200 health. Both Sounders and the Frozen Tomb are available, and so Hivian will decide not to commit in that mid lane.
Well, someone that is going to go commit in the mid lane is going to be go commit.
And he does find the root, and Hivian, he burns his cleanse. That is just such a beautifully executed gank by the side of Sphinx.
It was a really lovely gank from Go Commit. However, I want to point out that Hivian knew about him. He saw him getting himself ready for that job. He should have just flashed away out of the elastic slingshot, but alas, he still died. He donated at least 1 kill over to the bank of Lil Uzi, and he has finished a Luden's Echo, which is a relatively untraditional pick when you think about it on this Lissandra.
Now look at the top lane. Isaac is running low, and there goes the fear beyond that, and Mpaker gets himself a 2nd solo kill. Now can he make it out away from this angry Cyan zombie? Looks like he will. Bot lane, there is some more trading. Both of the sides are looking. There is the Glacial Fissure from Godfight. It finds a nice low.
No.
Prompo does not get the knockback. The cask is not available, and the engage from Chimaera just falls short on its face.
And that is simply unfortunate. Whenever you miss your body slam into flash, you sort of make yourself look like a fool. However, it happens, and well, it certainly happened that time around. They would have likely been able to clean those couple of kills up, but regardless, they make themselves go even. They don't expend any summoner spells from the side of Sphinx, so that is going to be a bit of a loss from them in the long run, but I'm really glad that we are still seeing some form of aggression be developed by Prompo, most namely, as he has to really utilize the spike that he is about to get.
Oh, he definitely needs to make the best use of that position, because if you look at the items across the board, first have been completed now. Cleanse is forced from Lil Uzi in that mid lane. That will be a lot of damage from Hivian. He flashes for the Foxfire, isn't quite enough. Now Gokumit tries his chances in the mid lane, but so is Promo. Meanwhile in the bot lane, Vega finds it all up. Here goes Killer Instinct from KZZ onto the back line, but he falls down to the Gleaming Quill in the mid lane. Gokumit finds Promo as well, and Sphinx, they're just fighting the fight wins in the across the map.
They are fighting the good fight. They are getting a couple of kills to their names. However, all those kills in the bot lane are sitting on Vega, which isn't something that you really want in the mid lane. In the meantime, Hivian tried to assassinate Lil Uzi, but the Frozen Tomb is just too powerful to do that. Really well timed from him to dodge the barrel from Prompo as well, and it gave him some nice little health to survive the potential poke that came from another barrel of Gragas afterwards, and so the state of mid lane will remain once again relatively even.
However, now you have to look at all these fights that Chimaera haven't really been winning. In that mid lane, Hivian and Prompo have died a few times, which means that Lil Uzi is sitting 1-1 and 1. Not the most scary scoreline. However, if you take a look towards that bot side, where also Sphinx have been finding success, that is an over 20 CS lead onto Birdie Zukira, who has already completed his Stormrazor and Boots, and is now working towards what I would assume is the Zeal item, as well as the Zeke's Convergence being completed on Vega. That just gives you so much skirmish potential in that mid game for the bot lane of Sphinx.
Yeah, and as soon as they just decide to leave their own lane kingdom, they will just be able to shred through the lineup of Chimaera, assuming that they are going to have all of their team members nearby, as they have really good potential to get a strong front line and back line as well in a full-on 5v5. And you mentioned that the state of 1v1 sitting on Lil Uzi right now isn't too dangerous. However, I may disagree with that a bit, as he has finished that Luden's Echo first. He is going to have a lot of damage, and thus this itemization is, I think, mostly made because of Gokumit's commitment to the mid lane. He has been there a lot. He's been there almost permanently, just because Hivian is super aggressive and he overextends a lot.
Now Nizek uses the Unstoppable Onslaught to try and escape in the top side. Will make good use of it for now. Flash is still available. He does use it to dodge from the Elastic Slingshot, but the Stretching Strikes just bring him back, and there is the Let's Bounce. Prompo is up in the top lane. Gokumit jungle will be taken dangerously low, but he still has got the Cell Division. Now Mpaker 1 versus 2, trying to run away from that zombie side, and great Stretching Strike from Gokumit. He secures the second kill, and Sphinx win yet another skirmish up in the top lane.
It's again, well, Prompo and Nizek, they tried to survive. Nizek, he wanted to live just so desperately. However, in the meantime, Prompo just overextended himself in the search for more kills. He really underestimated the amount of damage that Gokumit and Mpaker, together with a really big minion wave, are going to inflict upon him. Remember, this isn't a tanky Scion. Sorry, Gragas. That's a early game AP, Gragas. So he just wasn't able to withstand the amount of damage that Gokumit and Mpaker inflicted upon him.
Hivian will use the Spirit Rush to escape. There is the Frozen Tomb, and Hivian is brought back with the Stretching Strike so low. But looks like the mid laner for Chimaera will just be able to escape with a slither of health.
Yes, Hivian just surviving by the skin of his teeth. Is that the actual term? I have no idea. However, really good that he survived, not giving any more kills over to Lil Uzi, but the bot lane turret has been taken by the squad of Sphinx, and it's looking a bit grim, as you will have Xayah hitting their power spikes around the same time as it's going to be with Kai'Sa. Kai'Sa is going to be going with that Rage Blade, which is a good early game spike. However, if this pressure keeps on going, Birdie may just found themselves in a position where she's going to have a lot, and I really do mean a lot of items, and she'll be dealing more damage than KZZ will be.
And you know, we are still 18.5 minutes in the game, and the laning phase is not finished. Now with that turret, the map may be opened up a bit more, but what this means is that coming into the lane, actually, yeah, in the mid lane, Hivian, he's just caught way out of position. Lil Uzi gets the kill. However, top lane Mpaker, he does commit the flash. There is knockup from the Unstoppable Onslaught, and the shutdown will land into Prompo's pocket. And this is just what I said, the laning phase is still not over at 90 minutes, but I think that I will have to just hold on to any further thoughts as Gokumit, he is behind Prompo and Nizik. There goes the Elastic Extinction knockup, connecting onto the sand, flash forward from Gokumit, and he gets a double hit boss under the turret, right straight into Lil Uzi. 2 kills going in favor of Sphinx, and Gokumit, a beautiful play on the Zac.
That was such a great use of his ultimate. Oh, just dodging everything that Prompo and Nizik tries to do, most namely the explosive cask. Really lovely to see some nice mechanical outplays come from this guy that is meant to be the main cog in the wheel of Sphinx. And well, he's also able to do that just because of Lil Uzi's itemization, which is why I really once again love this Luden's Echo as the first item.
It gives so much damage. Now the Herald, I don't think it will be able to be finished by the side of Sphinx, considering that the Baron is now spawning, and it will not be. We are 20 minutes into the game. The laning phase, I'm pretty sure it has ended about now, and the Sphinx, they are sitting with the 5,000 gold lead. Gokumit is looking for more picks. Godfire will jump back to KZ, and a beautiful knockup from Vega, but there goes the killer as the KZ tries to get out. Godfire is already dead. Ignite is taken out, and Birdie picks up the kill with an auto attack. Yet another pair of kills going in favor of Sphinx.
And at this point, Sphinx are just going to look to open up the mid lane. It is the last remaining lane with the tier 1 turret in there. Hivian cannot do anything against this amount of people there. They may actually look to try to get the tier 2 as well. Looks like they will just back out. They have the superior vision around the Baron pit as well, and all things are really looking well for the boys over at the Egyptian Sphinx part.
And I mean, this game really seems very weird, because if you think about how it went, we just ended the laning phase at about 19 minutes, so that was like 2 minutes ago, and Sphinx have built up a very strong lead, partially because of Gokumit and his presence in those lanes. He was there to gang, and I really have to praise this jungler of Sphinx for all the work he is putting in.
He really is putting in a lot of work. Another person that we have to commend is this Lil Uzi. He is the main damage dealer for the squad of Sphinx, at least right now. Once again, all on the back of that Luden's Echo being finished as his first item. He has a lot of damage. He's the main CC tool for them as well. And at this point, Sphinx can just look to group and team fight. The bot and top lane will be swapping, at least for now. As Birdie, I'm really hoping that that they play it safely, because, well, that is a lot of angry members from Chimaera, and I have to criticize the squad of Sphinx right now, because they are giving up a lot of vision in this top set, and they aren't precisely getting really anything for it in return.
Gokumit is currently in that bot lane jungle, which means that, as you said, the side of Sphinx unable to contest vision and will give up a lot of it. The Baron is now spawned. The pace of the game seems so sluggish, but now 22 minutes on the clock, that purple worm is on the map, and you have to be careful. Now Lil Uzi, he will just get charmed in that middle lane. Not too much damage coming through, as both of the teams, they are just starting to play the vision game, but for now Chimaera, they are definitely in the better spot.
They are, as well. Once again, Sphinx, they did a pretty bad rotation in the sense that they had so many people in the bot lane where they weren't supposed to. They couldn't contest the amount of wards that Chimaera were trying to put down, and so they just ended up in an unfavorable position, I'm going to say, luckily.
And Baker TP'd into the tribe, which will be looking to pick out some members. The cast from Prompo does not connect, but neither does the Disdain. And actually it looks like the teleport will be committed from Sphinx for no real gains. They could be looking to siege that top lane turret though.
They're definitely going to be looking to try to pressure this turret. They can try to dive as soon as, well, this turret is goner.
And Godfire is definitely on the wrong side, and Baker goes in, gets the flip back onto Hivian, who gets just brought back into the grinder. A massive aggressive taunt from Empaker. There goes the elastic stick shot onto KZ. He's brought back into the team with the Let's Bounce. Vega is on a killing spree of all people as Nizik will fall. Prompo, the only surviving member of Chimaera, and Sphinx in a 4-4 note fight, but I might hold my words as he jumps over to the Baron pit, trying to escape. Vega will be chasing him up, and Prompo, he pops the Predator. He is a very, very fast Gragas boy, but however, looks like he will be let go as Sphinx. They turn towards the Nashor.
And the Sphinx right now can just take everything that they want. They will have Impaker in the top lane, securing that turret for themselves. He may be disrupted by the lovely Godfrey running over there right now. However, that is definitely going to be a Baron for the squad of Sphinx. And once again, the gold lead right now is so big in comparison to the amount of gold on the side of Chimaera, that if Sphinx don't completely mess this up, and if they don't fall to the power spike of KZZ, as he will be finishing that Rage Blade shortly, they should just be able to group up and utilize the amount of Baron empowered minions to try to get a couple of inhibitors, or maybe just all of the remaining tier 2 turrets.
And you know, always whenever we are talking about the siege, you look at the wave clear for the team that will be defending. Well, you've got the Kai'Sa, you've got the Ahri. I'm not saying the wave clear is bad, however, with all of that diving potential that we talked about earlier on in the match, it could be very difficult to defend their base, and as a result, we are definitely looking for Sphinx to take, as you said, at least one of the inhibitors with that Baron buff.
Sphinx right now, they are looking to just group in the mid lane. Hivian hasn't been spotted. Sphinx just will be clearing out some vision at this point, making sure that the opposing team is just completely blind.
Well, Hivian will be brought back. He's just completely deleted. Vega goes on a rampage, on a recount, 4-0 and 5. Who needs an AD carry? I am the carry. Listen to me right now. And Sphinx, they are just furthering their goal lead, finding the pigs. They will be looking to take the last inner turrets remaining as Goku mid jungle. He jumps in once again. He tags KZZ with the stretching strikes. He will not be able to complete the second part of that ability, as the cask is committed from Probo to make sure the start stays alive for as long as possible.
Goku mid right now coming up huge in every single engage.
Oh, and there is yet another. Let's Bounce brings back Godfrey into the team, who gets the Glacial Fissure off, which will slow the advance of Sphinx, but the turret is still false. The base is broken. Melee inhibitor to follow, and Sphinx with a 12,000 gold lead, they're just looking so dominant in this game 1.
And at this point, there is nothing that Chimaera can do about this beefy Zac boy. He just has too much HP and regen. In every single siege, he just jumps in, he jumps out, and suddenly he has full HP again. And well, things are starting to really look grim from Chimaera, as that turret is going so fast just thanks to those cannon minions.
Oh, and a double knockup from Vega will initiate the fight as KZ is immediately deleted. Lil Uzi goes into the middle of the fight, gets the kill onto Prompo. The entire team of Chimaera is just slaughtered. 4 kills go in favor of Sphinx. They get their second inhibitor of the game. Godfight, the only person alive to defend the base. And I dare say that it just isn't enough, as Sphinx, they are looking for the Nexus turret. They will be taking them. They will be taking the Nexus, and they will be taking the game 1.
And once again, this is just what happens when you snowball a team that has a lot of engage opportunities. You have Goku mid, you have Vega, you have Lil Uzi, and you just have so much damage in the mid game just thanks to the itemization differences that these players decided to go for, which just resulted in a really quick game from what we originally anticipated would be a slow and calm and collected one. And I have to give props where props are due to the side of Sphinx, because they really performed flawlessly, mostly on the back of Goku mid and Lil Uzi.
Well, I mean, in all fairness, the game has been very, very slow for the first 18 minutes, but Sphinx, they just show that they know how to just take whatever they have and snowball it out of proportion in barely any time at all. I believe that we had only like 9 minutes of the game outside of the laning phase, so I mean, that is some very, very impressive stuff. But what can we expect from the side of Chimaera to improve coming into game 2?
Well, I may be expecting them to pick up something like that Lucian. It got banned out last game from the side of Sphinx. However, if it does go through, I really think that they should be opting into something more early game focused. They decided to pick up that Gragas for Prompo, who isn't the most early game focused jungler. Sure, he did a lot in that early game, however, he couldn't really just shut Go Commit down, and that is what they need to do. Look, keep your eyes open for someone like a Xin Zhao, maybe even Nocturne, anyone who can duel the gank heavy oriented junglers off Prompo's arsenal, because if you don't, you're going to end up with a really similar situation from what happened in the first game.
Well, with that, we will just jump into a very short break to see if Sphinx, will they take the game 2 in the entire series, or will Chimaera take us to game 3? So stay tuned. By the way, we'll just quickly reset the stream, some settings will change. We'll be offline for like 10 seconds, so do not go anywhere, because we will not be gone.
Tell me, where do I go? Tell me, where do I take us? Your heart is starting to slow. May the water be safe. As I dive in, blood stains washing underneath the waves. The night beckons while you dream. A life never lives in peace. As you stand upon the edge, woven by a single thread, and
Welcome back everyone, we are now in the Champion Select for the Game 2 as Sphinx, they will be looking to close it out. Chimaera, they are on the blue side, Sphinx on the red side, and we already see two of the bans going through.
Of course, let me just you know, give me a couple of seconds as I'm still trying to load in. Regardless, we saw a really interesting first game, I'm going to say, so there is no real surprise that Sphinx are just taking away the same kind of bans that they did in the first one. Lucian once again coming through. I think it's really good that Chimaera are opting to ban out the composition that Sphinx showed us last time around, taking away the more engage heavy opportunities like that Rakan and Lissandra makes sure that they aren't going to be wanting to really snowball. However, something even more early game focused is now open for Sphinx. Maybe something like an Ezreal, something like that Xin Zhao. Okay, they were just gonna ban it out themselves, I'm sorry, but they have more options to try to snowball in the early game now.
Oh yeah, and Rakan just being the first pick from Chimaera, I am not surprised just revisiting that, because Vega last game he just had such a good performance, making sure to initiate the fights and then also just finding so many of these picks. There is the Ergot, so actually Chimaera just straight up removing 3 of the picks that Sphinx went for last game.
And they just definitely do not want to be playing against the composition that Sphinx pulled out on them last time around. The reason, however, why that Sphinx composition was so strong wasn't because of any individual picks, really. Of course, they did manage to really let Sphinx shine through. However, it wasn't just about the picks. They are really the most, not meta, but they aren't the strongest ones. It was really the cohesion that Sphinx had and their execution of those really important objectives. And something like a Zac is still left open for them. And even though you will now have the Galio in the mid lane, likely, there is still a lot of ways for them to try to get ahead.
There definitely are, however, Galio is a pick that is just so insanely strong. Wherever I look, I just see people talk about how broken he is. Well, I'm not sure if he is that broken. Now, Cyan has been locked in, a safe pick. You can always get him for yourself. Does fairly well in the lane, can also teamfight now, and Nivea being hovered could be pretty interesting for Sphinx, but it would also mean that probably not a lot will be happening, but there is the Kai'Sa.
Makes sense, they are locking themselves once again. A relatively scaling AD carry, however, something like the Lovers Duo is open, so I am a bit surprised that they didn't decide to go for it. Of course, they would have to relegate just one half of the pick, likely, as Chimaera would be forced to pick the other. Now, Zac being picked up by Chimaera, interesting. We're sort of seeing a role swap from these teams. If that Alistar goes through, Chimaera would just have so many engage options. And I'm really looking forward to just seeing Sphinx pan out anything that has actual amount of damage in the early game, because if they don't do so, they're going to be at a loss, really.
I like that Camille, especially if you put her into jungle though. She can be used to just bully out the Zac and has got, as you said, that early game damage, and denies as well the Camille Galio combo with that ultimate. So Chimaera, first 3 picks going, as you said, very strong engage, looking forward to seeing that. But Sphinx, they get themselves the Camille, which could be the means to try and shutting down the Zac.
Definitely, we didn't see Gokumin getting punished on that Zac at all last game, as all of his lanes were either even or pushing away from themselves. And so Gokumin was just free to farm around. Now you will have a lot of contention being developed between him and Prompo, as well, you will have this really powerful skirmisher in the form of Camille jumping at you, and she really can't try to shut Zac down. So again, our eyes should be on the vision control, as well as as well as what Sphinx decides to get themselves in the bot lane for the support pick, because that is going to determine if they are going to have the vision dominance in the bot side of the map.
Yeah, Renekton though will be removed just away from Nizik, I believe. However, Chimaera, they ban away the Nivea. They want to make sure that Galio actually will have the priority in the mid lane to roam and help out the Zac if needed, because the level 6 hero's entrance power spike is definitely very powerful, so I would not at all be surprised to just see another mid lane ban. Conversely, as you said, it could be aimed towards that support position to make sure that the Kai'Sa and whatever support Sphinx want to go for bot lane will not be that strong, but it will be the Cassiopeia ban in the end.
will be the Cassiopeia band Chimaera. Is it actually Chimaera or Chimaera?
I think either works. I'm just saying
okay.
Chimaera.
Let's just go Chimaera. Making sure that Galio isn't again something too terribly difficult to lane against in the mid lane, something that has really good wave clear, can challenge him, as the only real way for him to survive the mid lane is to just push out the wave and then try to roam as soon as the hero's entrance is up and available. So makes
Alright.
okay, I believe that was a mispick because it went to the very last second. So I'm not sure if
We're
it's
gonna wait
be
with that
Volibear.
one, because Volibear would be interesting to see, but where do you really put him? That is either top or support, and I guess he can work in these positions, but I really haven't seen any of the Sphinx members play Volibear that much. Only person I saw was Godquite, like one game in his solo queue, but he is playing the Alistar. So let's move on to the rest of the draft. The Aatrox will be the pick, which if put in the top lane will definitely secure a strong 1v1 matchup against that Sion.
Will definitely give him a lot of troubles in that top lane, assuming that he doesn't go to jungle, which I do not believe it is. Also, to just a confirmation, the Volibear is meant to be an Ornn, just so you know. So it is going to be likely it could be an Ornn jungle.
We have seen that.
It could be, in which case it would be Sion in the mid lane and Camille in the top lane.
Alright,
or Sion support?
Or Ornn support, I'm thinking.
Okay.
Well,
Okay, I'm liking it.
Just a confirmation. Once again, Kerem said it literally a few seconds ago, but putting it out there officially, Volibear is an Ornn. So before you get confused about this talking, just clearing it out.
Yeah,
but yeah, a lot of flexing potential for the side of Sphinx, but overall they do seem to have a very nice fighting composition with the frontliners, with the damage AoE from Orianna, as well as the Camille. So Chimaera, even though they have very strong engage, they might not be really uncontested in the fights.
And we are seeing a different story now be developed in this picks and ban phase from the first one. In the first one, it was all about team fights and late game scaling, which then was proven false by Sphinx as they just snowballed out of control just with go commit and sorry, I'm having a bit of a coughing fit.
Just take your time.
Okay.
And yeah.
Sorry, with go commit and Liluzi, of course. There we go. I think I'm good. And now it's going to be all about actually snowballing. They have locked in themselves picks that are designed to do that. If you will ever see a snowballing Camille, it's really terrifying, and you will have a lot of setup in the mid lane as well as in the top lane, assuming that that the picks go where they are supposed to. And there may be some possibility for an early game cheese if it's going to be Sion in the bot lane. Right now it's Impaker who is going to be locking him down, so we're just really going to have to see where these teams decide to relegate them, because frankly there's really a lot of flex picks.
There is, but the way the draft is shaping up, my guess would be this an Ornn support. I have seen Papa Smithy play it. He shared it on Twitter. He had like a 4-game win streak. So, I mean, if they do it in Korea, I guess it is viable. Is that how it works?
I think it is, yeah. Especially if Papa Smithy plays it, like...
Oh yeah, the god of analysis.
He is. He's the father of us all, colorcasters and analysts, not analysts. So, Ornn support, it isn't a really big meta pick. Ornn has been seeing a really big resurgence in the meta recently. After that little change in 9.1, it took people a bit to realize where he is strong. Here in Wintersplit, we've seen him be played mostly in the jungle since then. Not really the top lane where he was, well, originally meant to be. However, the point of Ornn is that he is pretty weak in lane before he hits that level 6. After that, he has so much kill pressure and he can set up a lot of these ganks. So, Sphinx, assuming that is going to be Ornn support, which Viga is locking in right now, I can confirm, Sphinx are just going to have to survive the laning phase. They will be laning against an Alistar Caitlyn, which is going to be really difficult for them, as Kai'Sa doesn't have the best of auto attack ranges compared to Caitlyn. And well, it may be a bit of a difficult task for them, but if they manage to survive and not fall too terrifyingly behind, they will have so many opportunities to just snowball Birdie out of control.
Yeah, the bot lane will be somewhere we'll be paying a close attention to, because as you said, Caitlyn superior range with Alistar engaged can make Kai'Sa's life pretty miserable, but you have both junglers which are more than capable of ganking pretty much any lane you desire. You've got Gokomet on a Camille, Prompo on a Zac. Yes, I've heard of Lehens, by the way, Montillo. I'm just joking, that guy's actually pretty damn good, not gonna lie, but yeah.
Random guy, what do you mean? Just a random Korean?
Nah, I mean, have you seen him? He's like actually pretty pog, not gonna lie.
I have. Anyone who reaches rank 1 is pretty pog, you have to admit. I cannot believe that I've said that word in an actual sentence.
You're
Regardless,
welcome.
moving away from Korea, I think it's really interesting, and this is going to be the story for the Wintersplit moving onward, I believe, is that we're going to be seeing the meta be shaped also by the professional leagues, because most of the leagues have started already. You have LPL, LCK, LEC, and also NALCS starting this Friday, or was it Saturday? It's Friday.
God knows, it's only LCS.
Yeah, true. Who cares about NA? It's likely going to be Friday, I believe, but we're going to be seeing more unorthodox picks maybe throughout the middle of the patch mostly, as all of these players will need more time than the pros to really accommodate themselves to the big changes that are going to be coming up in the meta. In the upcoming one, we may likely just see a resurgence of AD carries given the crit item changes. We'll have to see. I don't want to hypothesize because that's like the inner superior analyst in me, but we're going to see a lot of metas be shaped around these pro leagues, and I think it's interesting to just watch all of them. If you have the time, definitely make sure to check them out, just because it can really foreshadow and is going to tell you a lot about the amount of research that these teams put into every single game that they play.
Oh, definitely. However, you know, we're not casting pro play quite yet. We are back in our Wintersplit, so
of course, but
yes,
it's still gonna affect the thing.
It is. Oh, it definitely is. I mean, pro play affects solo queue. Still waiting for the Karthus in the jungle.
No,
just the outplay button. Press R to win. Lol. Just gank 3 lanes at the same time.
Please, no.
No?
I really don't want to face that in my solo queue.
Okay, I mean, you can cast it, but you don't need to play against it. You can just permaban it.
Yeah, well, the thing with Karthus jungle is that it's not really fun to cast either, just because, well, he farms for 20 minutes and then he deletes people. We saw that happen a couple of times already. Yeah,
yes.
It wasn't the most interesting of things. However, returning back to our game, another thing that I would want to point your attention to is the ball delivery system that Orianna is going to be able to utilize. She does have so many ways to get that ball into position for a nice shockwave. She has that Camille who can jump in. She does have that Sion who can ult in. And she also has that Ornn who can jump in as well. So if these people just group together, it's going to be so difficult for Chimaera to really do anything, even though they have such a strong front line as well as engage themselves.
And you know, one thing we talked about is the fact that in the 2 previous games that Chimaera played, they played against Onyx and Topaz, and they lost both Series 0 and 2, and I personally looked forward to see if they can step up against a team that is more evenly matched. And in Game 1 Sphinx, they were just the dominant team, no questions asked, all of them were answered. However, Game 2, we are looking really at them to make a better showing. You mentioned it, the Caitlyn in that bot lane will have some nice priority. Top lane Aatrox against the Sion is also another place that could potentially be exposed to grant Chimaera some nice early game advantages.
Especially that he will be laning against Sion. Aatrox can definitely utilize the amount of abilities that he has in the first couple of levels. He can just bully this Sion out, and he will just be able to just ruin any sort of sustain that he's going to build. So don't be surprised if you're going to be seeing him pick up something like a lot of rejuvenation beats. It's something that you take when you're going to completely lose the lane, just so that you can farm up under the turret. And it's also a point where Prompo can just jump around and try to bully Impaker out once again. Both of these top laners have showed us weaknesses in just controlling the top side vision, which once again, you cannot afford. If you're playing against the Zac, you have to have deep wards. And well, it's just going to be all about vision control. Once again, something that most people don't really pay attention to, but something that is possibly the most important aspect in competitive League.
I would definitely agree, and well, Frenzy, we are finally going to the game. For your information, it was in 23 minutes, and you will finally get some League of Legends to watch with our beautiful voices over it, as both teams, they are now making it out of the base. I see a lot of pings coming in from Sphinx. They will be looking for maybe some sort of an ambush up in the top side. I don't believe anything will work with the type of setup that every team is just going for. It's so hard to force any sort of surprise, since you just want to ward these pixel brushes.
Yes, things did get noticed by the lovely man. That is Hivian. He had a really good game last time around, or well, he didn't really manage to push his leads in the mid lane as we were expecting them, and I believe that is mostly on the back of that cleanse pick, because recall back into how many times he was in that lane and he didn't kill Lil Uzi just because he survived with 100 HP. If he had Ignite, okay, he could have had Snowball and the story could have been different. Once again, just a bit of a, I'm going to say mistake in itemization now. Impaker did get chunked for a bit. Just by
He did.
one tornado.
Yes, there is some obvious contention. As I mean, the wards in the pixel brushes, I feel like they're a necessity right now. You literally see them every single game. They just allow you to control that Skylarkrabs, know what the enemy jungler is up to, and it will be important, especially for Prompo, to make sure that he isn't completely destroyed by GoCommit should he decide to commit some jungle invades.
Yeah, and not only Prompo, it's just going to be important for the entirety of Chimaera as well to know where Camille is this early on, because she does have really potent level 2 ganks, and it looks like she's already heading over to the top lane, and there's a potential for a nice little gank early game, but it's just looking like she will hop over to the enemy jungle and just take some creeps herself.
Vertical jungling is what we could be seeing set up.
Fancy camera work, by the way.
Oh yes, the production value, by the way. Prompo, he's sitting down towards that bot side, so Birdie and Viga need to be careful. They will spot him out though, so likely no gank will be coming through anytime soon, at least not in that lane, not by Prompo. And this laning phase just seems to be pretty so. However, Impaker, he actually manages to bully out Nizik from the lane for now.
That is a surprise to me, given that Aatrox is one of the best level 1 early games in the entire game, maybe even the best, so getting bullied out by Impaker is a bit surprising. As well, Sion isn't really meant to do that, and he's currently sitting on 13 creeps compared to Nizik's per 2, which, well, is a really big surprise to me, I have to say.
It definitely is, but good wave control from Impaker, making sure that Nizik actually, despite being level 3, he cannot pick up any creeps, so I feel like it's more good work by Impaker, but you know, a very curious situation. I really regret not paying very close attention to that top side, because now I have no idea how that happened, but alas, it did.
Well, I'm going to tell you what happened. Nizik is playing way too far back in that top lane. He doesn't really know his damage, I think, and Impaker just goes in as soon as he misses the Darkened Blade. He just gets a quick little trade, he hops away, and at that point Nizik cannot really contest him, which is why he's still sitting on 3 creeps compared to Impaker's 20. This man is a madman.
Well, now Impaker, though, he's eating a pretty big trade. He will be dropped back to 150 HP, but Prompo in the jungle could get caught out, has to commit the flash. Viga goes in, finds the knockup with the Searing Charge, and the cell have been divided, but the teleport from Nizik will save his own jungler, will be cancelled over in the end, and here goes Godfrey, finds the knockup onto Viga, first blood, goes into the Ornn, Viga still stays alive, he finds the knockup with the Searing Charge, but finally Kaizen dead, finds the kill. Goku jungle is looking for more, the traps are doing work, and the side of Sphinx can't really overcommit. A good interrupt from Hivian, and he will find Goku jungle. Overall, a 2-for-1 fight in favor of Chimaera.
And a really big turnaround from the side of Chimaera. It was going so well for the squad. of of Sphinx, at least in the beginning, but in the end they just got outplayed. Caitlyn just has so much damage, even in the early game right now. She was just able to spam those traps over and over again, and well, there was hardly anything that Sphinx could have done there. As returning to our top lane shenanigans, Nizik is finally able to pick up some of those creeps.
Alas, he will be able to farm up, and well, from that point, I would be really expecting him to find some more of the favorable traits, considering that Mpaker, he doesn't have any mana and will be forced to back off, but the teleport committed earlier means that Mpaker, he has the luxury of just resetting the lane whenever he wishes to, and Nizik, well, you can't say the same thing now. Look at the mid lane, the taunt connects, cleanses Torello, as well as the knockup and Hivian. I was looking for Promo to make the gank, but this man does not need it.
Right now, Chimaera are already to a way better start than was last time around. Hivian will be likely finishing that Protobelt, judging by that Hextech Revolver in his inventory really soon, at which point he can start affecting the game in the same manner that little Uzi did. And well, things are starting to look good. The vision control is strong from the side of Chimaera, as well as it was in the very first minutes of the last game as well, and things are starting to look really well for them. They just have to not fall behind at this point. And well, Sphinx, they don't really have to do too terribly much. They still can just, you know, scale. Orianna can just push those waves. And we just have to wait for Sphinx to reach that level 6 in the bot lane. Once again, after they hit those ultimates, there's a lot of ways for them to engage on the enemy.
However, look at that bot lane, because Kaysen said he's finding a 10 CS lead already. Pretty solid one. Has got that BS sword, as well as picking up the kills in the fights. And right now that bot lane of Chimaera is doing what we said they would do. And even though the side of Sphinx, the bot lane, Birdie and Vega, they aren't really losing that much, or well, no real leads anyways, but they aren't really winning either.
Definitely aren't winning nor losing, but remember what I said when this Ornn support was locked in. You have to wait for that ram to really come online, and as soon as that happens, they have ways to engage on the enemy. We haven't seen anything from GoCommit be committed just yet outside of that little skirmish in the bot side, and he really has to step his game up. Remember, in the last game, he was pretty much one of the only reasons why Sphinx managed to turn the game around in their favor from the get-go. Well, this game he hasn't been having the biggest of impact, but that is all about to change as he heads into the bot side, where Vega and Birdie are about to hit those level 6s in just a few minutes.
Yeah, probably 1 or 2 waves, and especially when Gold Commit Jungle will be fairly close to getting access to that Hextech ultimatum, you will have to look at him and see where he decides to go, because if he chooses his lane right, then that is a very high chance of a kill. And we saw Vega in that fight in the river just making nearly the full use of that Ornn's engage to find these picks. So the lockdown is there. We are now just waiting for those ultimates.
We are just waiting on them. GoCommit has been spotted by a ward in the bot side river, so the lineup of Chimaera now know that he is somewhere around there. He is currently posturing to just go there. Will get spotted out by that ward, and so Chimaera are going to be able to live another day. However, that is a really crucial amount of vision be picked up from Sphinx, and now the entirety of river is blind for them. And GoCommit can just loop around and try to do something once again, as Mpaker now in the top lane was forced to expand his flash as Nizik is fighting back.
Yeah, definitely some vicious traits going up in the top side. No flash on the side, and as you said, means that the unstoppable onslaught is the only escape, and Nizik, he could be looking for some traits. He can interrupt that ultimate with a flash of his own, so keep your eyes on that. He finds one knockdown and he will get the kill with the Darkin Blade. Now, can he make it out from the side? Yes, he will, and Mpaker will not even try to rush. And at the same time, Chimaera, they are starting the mountain trade. Definitely a better look from the last game.
Most certainly, it's looking way better for them than in the first one. They are just getting everything that they want. They are snowballing that Aatrox. They are getting a couple of kills on that Galio. They are completely controlling the map, at least right now. The only thing that they could really improve upon is the amount of vision control that they have, especially in the top side. But alas, so far things are looking good. Now we're going to have to see how that is going to change now that Viga has that.
Gokumen is coming out into one side. There goes Call of the Fortune. However, a triple knockback and let's bounce under the turret from Prompo. There goes the hero's entrance. Gokumen jungle is already down. Birdie falls, flash taunt from Heavian, and Prompo gets himself another kill. A beautifully executed collapse from Chimaera.
Fun little thing, if you have the Call of the Forge God, you have to hit that, that ram that is going to be your main engage tool. Viga missed it, and unfortunately that resulted in them completely getting shredded. However, it was a really good turnaround from Heavian to jump over there as well, and once again, it's all about vision control, man. The lineup of Sphinx, they do not have anything, nor in the top side, nor in the bot side. They just engaged because they thought they were safe, that they had the numerical advantage, but Heavian wasn't in the mid lane, and the wave wasn't even pushed under his turret. So, really just a bit of a macro slip-up, I'm going to call it.
And now another fight is breaking up in that top lane. Isaac pops the World Ender. He has got the flash available, but looks like his ultimate will just be waited out. He now gets the flash, pops now into the resurrection. This man's fight does not connect, but the hookshot does from Gokumen. Isaac is still alive, and he will make it out under his own turret, and Heavian, he is on his way up top lane. No flash available, but here goes the Proto. He finds the taunt and gets the kill onto Empaker. Lil Uzi is up there on the arena, and the shockwave brings Heavian back, and he will get dropped down as the shutdown is picked up by Empaker.
And things right now are just not looking good for the side of Sphinx. However, there is that one return kill, so that is going to be the silver lining for them. But Isaac just being so clutch with that survive. Gokumen, he doesn't have any damage yet. He hasn't even finished the enchantment at 11 minutes. And well, if you have a Camille that is snowballing, sure, that is terrifying. If you have a Camille that is really behind, she is just a glorified CC tool.
She is, and well, I've been trying to say that in a while, but fights have been making up. Welcome back everyone from the other game. I hope you're having fun. Just the TLDR Sphinx, they just pretty much snowballed game 1 in 22 minutes or so, and now this game, well, is looking much more in favor of Chimaera.
Definitely. The other stream, I was able to pop in between the games, and I saw what was happening. Onyx pretty much completely dismantled Old Boys, and it was a really quick 2 games, so it was a pretty impressive showing from Onyx. So that's just to all you wonderful people watching us right now. But in the top lane, Viga may be able to use the Call of the Forge God now properly.
It does find the knockup onto Godfrey. Heavian is up with his taunt, will not connect, but will be enough to deter Sphinx from any further collapse. And the turret could be the next target, considering that we have 5 Sphinx members sitting now up in that top side of the map.
And Heavian right now is just so important and crucial to all of the members of Chimaera right now. You just see that Galio, and you cannot move past him because he has so much CC. He is ahead. He has, let's see how many levels. Oh, he doesn't have a level advantage over Lil Uzi. He's in fact behind in terms of farm just because he is roaming over and over and over again, but he is still a nice little beefy boy, and well, he's making sure that every single fight that Sphinx tried to go for is completely negated by him.
It definitely is. Now Chimaera, they will be looking to punish up that top side, and there goes the Elastic Section, connects onto Birdie, brings him back. Godfrey follows up with a knockup, and that is the AD carry gone just like that. Sphinx though, they are fighting back. Godfrey is riding low, he will survive, and Prompo finds the Elastic Section onto Gokumen Jack, who tries to get away, but KZ gets a double kill. In the meantime, Heavian gets a solo kill onto Lil Uzi, as the top laners are fighting in the bot side. And Isaac, he's trying to find the Darking Blades onto Empaker. Flash is available onto the Sign. Decimating Smash will connect. Isaac is running slightly low, and I'm just looking to see, can either of these top laners really break an advantage in that 1v1? Looks like both of them just ran away, but Chimaera, they just picked up many kills.
That not only kills, that is going to be also the tier 2 turret in the top lane from the side of Sphinx as well, and well, things are starting to look dire for them. You have Camille, who is behind and hasn't got any kills. You have Kaisa, who is pretty behind. However, you have KZZ, who is just going to be dealing so much damage on that Caitlyn, especially now that he has those 4 kills in his bank. Well, things are starting to really look a bit grim for the side of Sphinx, is they just have to scale at this point to try to win the game, because they're not going to be able to fight any 1v1 or 2v2.
The Infernal Dragon is on the map, and Chimaera, they're just jumping onto it. They will be able to melt it before any contest is coming in from Sphinx, but Vega is just brought back into the team with that headbutt. Nice shockwave onto 2 members from Lil Uzi, but Nizik gets the easy kill, and now the Oriana will be in trouble. There goes the Ignite, a double kill going in favor of Nizik. And Chimaera, they're just going for that mid lane that will extend their goal lead to over 7,000 at 15 minutes.
And this is just a slaughter at this point. Chimaera, they are almost already dead. Leave them alone. However, they are really playing this second game much better than it was last time around. And I'm glad that we are seeing this more confident version of Chimaera in the form of just picking an early game composition and utilizing the meta to their advantage. They are on a 7k gold lead, as you mentioned. They also have those 2 Drakes, 4 turrets compared to none on the side of Sphinx. And well, they are in a really prime position to just win the game outright.
They are. They can really get caught out, but now Prompo, he will be looking to provide a great flank from Mpeker, but can it achieve a lot? There goes Call of the Fortune. Let's Bounce brings back 2 members, and there goes the Hero Ascension. Goldfire tries to go in with a knockup, and it's so much CC from the side of Chimaera. Nets them 2 kills already. Birdie is trying to kite back. He'll get knocked up and just burst it down. A double kill in favor of Nizik. Lil Uzi will make it out, but 3 kills for none in favor of Chimaera.
And I want this to go on record. Birdie was in a really good position. They were in the back line just firing away right into Prompo. And that, well, he didn't receive any damage at all. And that just tells you about the state of the game right now for Sphinx. They're just super far behind. Once again, they just have to try to scale. Luckily for them, the Baron won't be spawning for 3 more minutes. However, Rift Herald has already been picked up by the side of Chimaera, and they can just go into a side lane or even mid lane group together and try to take even an inhibitor with it. I'm going to say, as they can just engage for days.
And the question I asked myself before the game is, can Chimaera perform against teams that aren't Topaz or Onyx, teams that they are more equally matched with? And after game 1 it looked a bit shaky, but now each member stepping up and getting the leads. It's very hard to pinpoint one singular member that you can attribute this game state to. And you know, they are just showing that yes, they can compete with the likes of Sphinx, and that is a very, very strong showing if I ever seen one.
And this is what happens when you just do not pick any winning lanes. I want to say that Sphinx lost this game in the picks and ban phase. They could have had survived it if they just paid more respect to this Heavy and Galio pick. They didn't, and in fact, it just turned the game around from them, as Heavy was so crucial in this game thus far. Well, it looks like they can win if they aren't pressured in the early game, which is a story for many of these teams, but oh, they are definitely pressured in this one.
They are indeed. Now in their turret in that bot side will be taken simultaneously as the mid lane turret is being pressured, and this game looks like the shockwave will catch out Hivian, and he is between 2 members of Sphinx. Coco no. Jungle just gets immediately bursted down. Lil as he falls down to Nizik, and Birdie, he cannot get out for hell as KZZ gets himself a double kill.
Once again, I'm getting a deja vu just on the opposite side of the spectrum in comparison to the game 1. Chimaera, they are just snowballing out of control. That's tanked 1 turret shot, but that didn't deal enough damage to stop them from taking this inhibitor. 10 seconds on the respawn timers right now, and there isn't really much that Sphinx can do. Baron will be spawning up in just about under a minute, and well, they can definitely look to try to secure it.
I'm not supposed to give my opinion, but just ban the Zac, please. This pick seems so strong in this series. Could be something we will be seeing moving into the other games as well, but just the pressure of a dive combined with being ahead is so scary and so hard to deal with.
However, in this game, I am going to say that Prompo has had less of a pressure on the Zac than Go Commit on him in the first game, just because you have Hivian on that Galio pick. I believe that is going to be the primary ban from the side of Sphinx, because he has just done everything this game. He's been roaming, he's been making sure that no one gets to play the game on Sphinx, he's been taunting, he's been knocking people up, and well, once again, this looks like the game is already won. However, I want to say, comebackable, that's my word. The way...
Yes, it is.
Okay, thanks for making fun of me. The way that Sphinx can now try to come back is through engage. Now, they still have that ram from Viga, and yes, he is level 8 in comparison to Impaker, who is level 12. However, okay, just hear me out. If they manage to get a good couple of picks, they can try to stall the game out a bit. And they can maybe look to come back with the premise of scaling, but the problem is, Chimaera are just posturing around this Baron pit. And well, looks like they are just going to take it in a few minutes, not immediately. Okay, they're gonna give him a couple of minutes as a breather.
They will be just waiting out for all vision for Sphinx to expire, maybe find a pick or two. The Baron now will be turned towards, and with a nearly 10,000 gold just fluctuating around that position, Chimaera, they are looking very, very unstoppable. Now, Gokame Jungle is behind the pit, but he will not be interested in contesting the Baron as he goes towards the cracks. And looks like Chimaera will be able to secure that objective, extending their goldie to 11,000, and will be trying to break open the base of Sphinx.
I'm really not surprised to see them do this. They will have a wave of minions just be crashing on the bottom side of the map. But Isaac, he is uncontested by Impaker. He just cannot even come near him, as he has 2 items already. Top lane also, with so many members uncontested once again from Sphinx, will mean a lot of damage initially to this turret, but now... well,
there is a fight in the top side. The turret in the bot lane, though, will be taking the meantime as Impaker is forced to play versus both Nizik and the threat of Hivian in that backline. Makes it so hard to do anything. Now, Gokame Jungle, he is looking for KZ, who immediately flashes out and flash forward. The Shockwave connects on the AD carry for the side of Chimaera, but he just stays alive. So much CC, so much peel from Chimaera. No way for Sphinx to get onto KZZ. He gets himself a triple kill. 4 members fall from Sphinx, so do the Nexus stars. The first one is gone, the second one is under fire, and Chimaera, in a similar style as Sphinx in game 1, take game 2 and will bring us into a game 3.
Well, that was the right idea, that they tried to focus KZ down. He is the most important damage dealer from the side of Chimaera, but alas, he just survived by the neck, and there was nothing that, alas, Sphinx could have done. They were just too far gone, they were too far behind, and an even more dominant game than it was in the first one. And well, I think that we may now see an early game composition against an early game composition, just because, well, first game we saw a late game scaling be beaten by a late game scaling. This time we saw a late game scaling composition be beaten by a snowballing one. So, you know, just for symmetry's sake, we have to see an early game composition against an early one, because, well, that would really please the inner Jin player inside of me.
Well, I mean, I hope to see that. Definitely a few bans on the cards. I'm hoping to see Galio and Zac removed, and if they are picked up, then, well, I will be expecting that team to do very, very well. But I think on that note, we will just jump into the short break. So guys, stay tuned and stay hyped. Tell us in the chat who you think will win the game 3, because we will be going into the draft in just a few minutes after the break.
Legends never die when the world is calling you. Can you hear them screaming out your name? Legends never die, they become a part of you. Every time you bleed for reaching greatness, relentless you survive. They never lose hope when everything's cold and the fighting's near. It's deep in their bones, they'll rot into smoke when the fire is fierce. Oh, pick yourself up, 'cause legends never die when the world is calling you. Can you hear them screaming out your name? Legends never die, they become a part of you. Every time you bleed for reaching greatness, legends never die. They're written down in eternity, but you'll never see the price it costs. The scars collected all their
Welcome back everyone, we are now finally going into the draft for the game 3. Sphinx on the blue side, Chimaera are on the red side, and looking through the ban, Sphinx already taken off Lucian and Aatrox, whereas Chimaera still respect banning that Rakan.
Yeah, I think that they're still a bit terrified of what happened in the second one. They do not want that to happen once again. So maybe we won't see, in fact, what happened in the second one, and what I predict that it would be an early game composition versus this one in the same vein. Oh well, it may just be a scaling one against another one, but I'm really looking forward to how the junglers are going to try to snowball every single one.
Well, because a surprising thing that you will notice is that there is no Zag ban. All of the junglers that have been played are still open, as well as Xin Zhao, so that is a pick we could be seeing now. See some playtime. It was banned last game, not entirely sure about the game 1. So, you know, we're going to see what Sphinx decide to go for that first pick.
We're going to have to see right now. Zach, well, yeah, they're going to pick it themselves, and so far that is a little bit of a trivia fun fact for you. The team that has locked in themselves, Zag, has a 100% win rate in this entire series thus far. So, you know, already Sphinx are doing better, but now Chimaera, they are showing their cards straight from the get-go. They're taking the Caitlyn and Alistair. They say, well, it worked out last time for us, we're gonna do it again. And I think that Sphinx right now have to opt into something like that Ezreal, something that can try to contest this. Definitely not Ornn support. Definitely not a support that comes online after level 6, because it just takes way too long for you to even be able to do anything. And well, I'm liking the Malzahar pick, putting Illusio in something that he is comfortable on, and so far I don't think that either side has won the draft.
Well, it is hard to judge who wins the draft after 2 picks and 3 bans, so, you know, we'll have to wait and see, but Sphinx getting Zach Malzahar, it will provide a lot of lockdown for pretty much no matter what Chimaera get themselves in that mid lane, so they will have to really think about what they want to put Heavian on, because it could swing the tide of the game. And there is the Ezreal you talked about for that safer botting that will be able to survive and contest the Caitlyn Alistar that just worked so well for KZ and Godfire last game.
And right now I am maybe looking at something like a pretty safe roaming support that Sphinx can decide to pick up and go into the mid lane to try and get a kill with that Heavian. And of course we cannot forget, sorry, not Heavian, that's my mistake, with Luluzi and Gokumit. In the mid lane, they can have a lot of good damage there, as Malzahar has a respectable amount of it in the early game. He falls off late game where he just becomes a glorified CC tool, but of course all of these games are closed out before 30 minutes, so that isn't going to happen. Chimaera, they just get themselves a Sejuani. It has been banned in every other single game, and so right now we're going to see a similar composition in both these teams, where you will just have a gank heavy jungler that isn't going to be trying to skirmish at all. Both of these junglers are going to be just running around the map trying to snowball their lanes, and Sphinx have to lock in themselves something with a lot of kill pressure now in the top lane. they have to get themselves something where they can put go commit and they can just say, okay, you're going to get those kills there. Because if they're going to lock in themselves some even lanes right now, it's not going to help them. Chimaera are going to run over them in the bot lane. Caitlyn and Alistar is one of the most aggressive lanes in the entire game, and so Sphinx just have to respond.
And the Braum and Tam Kinge bans do not help that at all. Two of the tanky protective supports taken off just makes it so much harder, and a Syndra going in from Hivian, so that kill the top lane is so much more important, but it will be the Sion in the end. So Sphinx, they are going more for a defensive minded composition.
They are definitely going for that, just pure defense right now. Ornn is open, boys. Please don't.
No.
Something like a Leona is also open in case that Sphinx wants to go for more aggression in the bot lane right now. Thresh is also a potential pick. Will be the Shen. So, well, it's a bit of a flex pick right now, but I do believe that it's going to be Vega on that Shen. And well, I have questions for the support of Sphinx, because in the first one, when he managed to get his hands on that Rakan, he was really freaking good, I have to admit. In the second one, not so much. His Ornn game wasn't too hot, and so I'm just asking, was that just a flop that game, or can he play nothing else than just Rakan or his traditional engaged supports? And no.
That is a
no.
which means that Chimaera, right now they have 3 lanes, which should probably push in their opponents if played right.
Yeah.
And that is a Sphinx jungler in the form of Zac.
So sometimes I'm really happy that we don't use webcams on stream, because I just that must have been like the biggest phase of disappointment that I just created. But Chimaera, they have locked in themselves a super snowbally team composition, and there most likely isn't a better one. The only better option that you could opt for would be something like a Zed or Yasuo, and at that point it would be pretty much just balls out, just go all in, just, you know, try to snowball the game. But regardless, now you will have so many options for Prompo to just run over to any single lane. You will have kill pressure there. Sure, Sejuani comes online more after level 6, but even that is not going to help you. Go Commit has to do a lot, and he has to have knowledge of where Prompo is. If you do not see any lane getting really just ahead and trying to push out their wave constantly, they're not going to be able to put any vision down. And if they do not know where Prompo is on that Sejuani, Go Commit cannot move around the jungle effectively. And that is something that he needs to do. He needs to be on the other side of the map in comparison to Prompo. If Prompo is in the bot lane, he has to run over to top lane and try to snowball there. If Prompo is top lane, he has to try to snowball bot lane, because he needs to develop some sort of lead for Sphinx. If he doesn't, they're just going to die just on by themselves. So a lot of pressure right now on the jungler for Sphinx.
And there is also the room to prove himself, because we talked before the game, we talked in game 1 how Go Commit, he has been the jungler, has been very active and the backbone of Sphinx. He was the person that initiated the snowballs. Last game, not the greatest performance by any means. However, any other game apart from that, and he has been the facilitator. This is the true test. Can you pull off a good game on a Zac with 3 lanes, which you can expect to just be pushed in and harassed?
It really is just the trial through fire at this point. And I believe that the lanes that he's going to be mostly focusing on can be the bot lane before those level 6s are hit, and the mid lane as soon as Malzahar gets the Nether Grasp. Sorry, not Lissandra. Syndra is a really immobile mage. She has no mobility. She has picked up that Ignite. She isn't going to be playing something like a Cleanse, so, because, you know, it wouldn't help her into Malzahar. So, if Go Commit just jumps by, you know, he just pays it visit, he just waves at Hivian, and it's something that Zac loves to do, just camping that mid lane, he can just make sure that Lil Uzi is sitting on a couple of kills, that he is really healthy, he's really well off, and from that point on, he can try to steer the game on. But once again, it's going to be also on the lanes of Sphinx to not fall behind. Birdie is going to have to pull off some really safe plays. Essentially, they're just going to be focused on farming just with Mystic shots, as they're going to be outranged by KZZ's Caitlyn, and if anyone in the bot lane is going to be engaged upon by Chimaera, they're likely just going to get blown up immediately.
We have seen KZZ last game just do very well, as well as Godfrey on that Alistar with all the engages, so your concerns are definitely justified, although Ezreal a much safer pick. As right now we will be going into the spectator delay, all the summoner choices are confirmed. There are a lot of teleports, and I feel like you guys are not seeing it yet, but we can talk about it, because Sphinx, they've got teleports on Empaker's Sion, Lil Uzi's Malzahar, and Birdie's Ezreal, whereas Chimaera, they have teleports mid and top, 30 standard.
So taking teleport to Ezreal, taking teleport on an AD carry is something that you tend to do if you know that you're going to be either A, running out of mana constantly, or B, that you're going to be able to push in your lane, come back, and then teleport once and again to just keep the pressure up. You do not take it in situations when you know that you're going to be risking your life by just staying in that lane, which is something that Birdie is going to be doing when they're going to be playing against Caitlyn and Alistar. So I'm not sure about this choice at all. The other teleports are understandable. Malzahar and Sion, again, they need to get back into those lanes. Malzahar is going to definitely be losing out in terms of push early game against that Syndra. As soon as he picks up the Lost Chapter, it's going to get better for him. But regardless, I really am not sure about this teleport on Ezreal, because if any fight breaks out, if Godquake gets just one good engage, well, he has Ignite. Birdie does not have heal, and he is just going to be definitely taken down.
However, what that does give is a lot of global pressure, because you've got pretty much Vega has got a Stun United, you've got the teleport on Birdie, and then you've got teleports on 2 other members, so as long as Go Commit is in the vicinity, then you can just you can utilize it to make sure you have numbers advantage in early game fights. And you said it, Chimaera wants to snowball. If you can deny that snowball with getting a surprise fight where suddenly the entire team shows up, that is one way in which Sphinx can turn the tide of the game in their favor.
However, if it's going to be any teleports that are going to be the most crucial ones to turning around a big team fight, it's not going to be Birdies. Generally, a good person to have a teleport on, if you want to use them to cross-map team fight, is someone that has really good engage and can survive an initial onslaught of damage, which in this case, you know, Empaker on that Sion makes sense. Malzahar also makes sense, he can just instantly lock someone down and survive. Ezreal, he isn't going to be teleporting straight into the fray, he is more going to use it to get back into the lane, and so it isn't going to develop too much map pressure that way, but he does have that that ultimate that he can effectively utilize, and if he survives this bot lane, if he survives the laning phase, even without a summoner, like as important in this case as heal, I'm going to be really impressed. But mainly, he's going to be able to scale, and right now, Ezreal in the late game is such a terrifying beast to play against that, well, if it goes there, I believe that Sphinx are going to auto-win, but to do that, they have to just survive the onslaught of Chimaera, something that Prompo has been really good at, just ganking and pushing the tempo, pedal to the metal. So once again, just our eyes are going to be on both of the junglers.
Alright guys, well, can I get some hype in the chat, because game 3s, they're always very exciting. The whole series coming down into one game. A single play can make or break it, as we will be loading into the Rift, I believe, on the stream as well.
Hopefully.
Hopefully,
I feel like your hype has been a bit killed by that little next game timer just ticking away.
Alright, yeah, we're on the Rift. It is hard as a caster, because the only way we are seeing the stream is with a delay, so you can actually never know. But yeah, we're in the game, let's go.
Okay, that's... You could have been climactic there, come on. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, regardless, I love you, Kachka, no worries, everyone loves you. So nice little shenanigans happening by the side of Sphinx. I'm not sure if they were actually spotted going into that pixel brush by Hivian, so he may be in a big world of hurt in a few minutes.
Well,
seconds, sorry.
the lockup from the side of Sphinx, unless Go Commit decides to go in for Elastic Slingshot, which I don't think is the optimal choice. Could be slightly iffy, but now could be thinking about it, but the nice Dark Sphere from Hivian, and there goes the knockup. Actually, they decide to commit onto Nizek. He demounts already. Ignite is ticking down. Flash is available, but will it be enough? No, it will not. Lil Uzi gets himself the first blood.
And well, I talked about it. You need a couple of kills sitting on Lil Uzi. You need him to be really comfortable. You need a lot of damage on him if you want him to be a pretty primary carry. It was the story in the first one. He got that Luden's Echo first item really quickly, and he was able to just snowball from there. It isn't something that you build first item on Lissandra too often. It is something that you necessarily build on Malzahar. And well, right now he is going to be in a pretty good spot. As soon as he can reach that lost chapter, if he manages to reach it first, he's just going to be able to push this Syndra under her turret, which would neglect a lot of kill pressure that, well, Go Commit would be forced to just deal with.
And that does also open up that mid lane as a potential lane for that Zac to gang. Now in the top lane, Isaac he's just poking and Paker, nothing really too surprising. The bot lane for Chimaera is pushing. They will get level 2 and a nice little knockup onto Vega. He'll eat some HP, nice trading from KZZ, but no major commitments anywhere on the map right now.
And talking about the top lane, the important thing is that Nizek was super patient with his summoner spells during the invade. He hasn't used that flash, and so now he is still going to be such a big threat in the top lane. You will have now the mid game be a bit mitigated, mid lane be a bit mitigated with that one kill on Lil Uzi, but this Scion in Paker is just going to have so much trouble dealing with the amount of damage that Kled is going to be putting out both in the early and mid laning phase.
And right now, 3 minutes in, the junglers, they decide to split across the mid lane. Prompo will be taking the bot side jungle and Go Commit will be taking the top side jungle, as now we could be seeing some action onto Lil Uzi. Prompo, he's walking up. You still have the Void Shift and Elastic Signal is being charged up. A great, nice interrupt onto Go Commit jungle, who gets a nice little slap here. Has to burn his flash. No kills going through, and the flash down onto the Zac.
Nice little roam from Nizek, making sure that Go Commit is forced to use that flash. Overall, a nice fight from Chimaera, making sure that they are just wasting even more summoner spells from the side of Sphinx. Both of the mid laners are currently a bit low on mana. Evian will likely just go back. However, Lil Uzi won't be able to push it, so it's okay. And he's just gonna stay there. Okay, well, thank you, Hivian, for completely ruining my point. So,
you're welcome.
Yeah, it's a caster curse, isn't it?
It is. I can't argue against that.
Yeah, that's how it is on this League of Unearth. Regardless, let's look at the entire state of the game thus far. Almost a 1000 gold lead now being developed by the side of Sphinx, and it is on the back of some CS discrepancies. Now, they aren't too big, but in the bot lane, Birdie is really doing well into this Caitlyn. He is just farming from really behind, you know, not exposing themselves too much, in which case, well, they would be in a big world of trouble. But so far just being really safe and making sure that this KZZ and God quite terrifying bot lane cannot snowball ahead.
Yeah, and last game actually, if you think back, Chimaera's bot lane KZZ, they didn't really get ahead from the get-go. It was that fight around the Drake that got them the kills necessary to snowball. So I'm looking to see if Chimaera, if they can initiate a similar fight that would lead KZZ to snowballing. But right now, as you pointed it out, Birdie doing very well, out farming his counterparts in the jungle. Prompo and Go Commit, they are fighting. The permafrost will land at some nice damage onto the Zac, but nothing major.
You mentioned that, well, in the second game, it was all on the back of that one little fight around that bottom side river. Well, in this case, The side of Chimaera do not have Hivian on something that can roam really well. They do have him on Syndra. When in comparison to Galio, he cannot initiate too many fights. Who can initiate fights is Goku.
Will be caught out by the elastic stick on both with the stretching strike, but Uzi is taking so much damage. He will be forced to flash away. He's running for no flash forward from Hivian, gets the kill with the Dark Sphere.
That was such a lovely turnaround from Hivian. A really clutch hitting of that level 6.
Is looking for more. Gokumit is on the wrong side of the map, has got the elastic slingshot, will be able to get it out, but Hivian, he's trying to catch out the jungler of Sphinx. Godfire is also coming up. There is the stun with Scatter. The weak stretching strikes will delay the mothers, but there goes the cell division. Who will get the kill? It will be KZZ.
Good. I'm just gonna say that. Good. Getting a kill on that Caitlyn is really important just because, well, you know, you're gonna be able to snowball, which is something that KZZ desperately needs to do, especially now that he is behind in the farm department when compared to Birdie. Remember, Ezreal also has that Kleptomancy. Now KZZ...
He could be cut out by Vega, but he does not commit the Shadow Dash quite yet. The Dragon is the focus for Chimaera, but the bowling will commit now. Godfire flashes forward, finds the knockup and ignite onto Vega. However, KZZ isn't there to follow up, so his efforts will be futile in the end.
His efforts will be futile. All your farm are belong to us?
That was an unintentional reference.
Okay, good. Just, you know, don't worry about it. Hey! Birdie is teleporting into the lane, utilizing that teleport to exactly what it was.
Now the Dragon is actually contested. Who will get it? It will be secured by Prompo. Gokumit is now caught out with the stun. Stretching strikes are buying some more time. Prompo is running low, has to flash away. Gokumit is still alive, but KZZ gets himself the second kill of the game.
That is the second kill. Well, KZZ hasn't been back just yet from this lane. Thanks to that teleport that Birdie decides to pick up for himself. He's just putting up the pressure right now. However, as soon as KZZ goes back, he may be able to get that Stormrazor in already. At which point, that would be really terrible for Ezreal, because until now, KZZ hasn't had enough poke to really make sure that, well, Birdie can do anything in that lane. And at that point, he may just be able to, you know, actually be able to do something.
Yes, looks like KZ doesn't have quite in gold for the Stormrazor. It will be a BF Sword and Berserker Greaves, which is still a very, very strong recall to have on the Caitlyn, though Birdie has got that Sheen. I still think the power of KZ, though, is much, much greater than that of an Ezreal at this state.
At this state, Caitlyn is definitely going to have the better damage outcome. However, you have to think about the mid-game, mid-term, not real long-term. Birdie will be hitting up those power spikes really shortly. He does have the Sheen and Tear of the Goddess built up, which is making me feel like he is going to be either going for Trinity Force or the Iceborne Gauntlet as the first item, which would be a good early game power spike for him. So, as soon as he hits that, he's going to be a really terrifying AD carry.
Gokumit is looking for an engage. Godfire is just locked up. He does find a double pulverize to buy himself some more time. Nice shot from KZZ, still just securing the disengage, and the bottom from Chimaera will be able to get out. Godfire, though, he is looking for more. But 5 members of Sphinx are rotating down to this bot side. You've got the Nether Grasp available for Uzi. No flash, though, so plays will be hard to pull off. Top lane, though, it is unprotected, but Nizik is nowhere in the vicinity.
Oh, no. Okay.
Tensions are rising, but Sphinx, they decide not to pull the trigger, and they will not commit into any fight.
I thought that Godquine cases that could have been turned upon by Gokumit and Impaker, but they just decided to leave. Impaker does have that ultimate, and Hivian
is just caught up by the Nerdgrass, knocked up with the Ansel Ball, so he just cannot move at all, and Lil Uzi gets himself a kill.
The second kill of the game, and that was just a beautiful amount of chain CC. Hivian just could not play the game. Nether Grasp and Unstoppable Onslaught is too much at this point. And well, that is the second kill, and he will be finishing that Luden's Echo up really shortly.
Oh, Prompo, he is looking for Impaker in the jungle. Nice, goes in with the charge. Flash over the wall, not quite there for Impaker. A double capture from the last boss. Prompo is running low. Lil Uzi gets himself the kill. Nice has to flash over the wall. He will demount and he will try to get away, but the side of Sphinx, they are not going in for that chase. And this game, this is much more even than what we have seen previously.
It is definitely so even right now. Both of these teams are just finding picks left and right. In that little fight, I do believe that Chimaera, that Sphinx could have had gone in for Isaac as well.
Teleport is coming down into the bot side from Lil Uzi. Flash away already from KZZ. Nether Grasp not available for the Malzahar. And Teleport will be responded with from Heavian, so no gains here.
Teleport for Teleport being expended. However, it does hurt Malzahar more as well. Syndrome isn't one of the most primary users of Teleport. I think you all can agree with me on that. And she won't be the one really looking to get instant CC down in every single fight, whereas that's exactly what Malzahar wants to do. So not having a Teleport on this important link of that crowd control that you want to chain together is going to really hurt Chimaera. Sphinx.
One crucial point as well, there's a lot of fighting, but KZZ doesn't have a flash and now neither does Heavian, so flash is down on both of the carries from Chimaera, and with all of that pick potential with the Nether Grasp, you can just lock down either KZZ or Heavian so easily. Because QSS, it will take time to build, and it doesn't look like that time is now.
It isn't, and well, at this point, Lil Uzi has finished that Luden's Echo, and that is just going to be a lot of damage sitting on this Madman from the Void. Let's see how much damage his Malefic Visions do to Heavian. Well, that is around 400 damage, just from 1E. That's really terrifying.
That's a lot. It is. Now top lane, there is the fight between Impicker and Isaac, but none of them really getting enough damage to be in the kill threat zone. Infernal is the next dragon up. Gokomet is posturing around that mid lane, and Prompo, he is sitting in that bot side. So both of the junglers already preparing that objective because they know that they want to get it. No matter which team you are on, it will help you.
Especially since it is the Infernal one. It would help the side of Chimaera more than Sphinx at this point, as they really do need to find more opportunities to snowball. They do have those 2 kills sitting on KZZ, but they need more than that. At this point, I am surprised that Isaac isn't sitting on more kills, that he hasn't received more attention from Prompo, because a fed Clud is something that is really just difficult to play against, especially if you're someone like Sion. He'll just be able to take this lane over. However, Prompo is still sitting around this bot lane, and they just want to take the turret platings, it seems.
Lil Uzi is on his way, so is Gokomet, so it could be difficult to pull out any sort of planes. The elastic slingshot is channeled, does not find its mark, and as the turret platings are falling, we need to be really looking at who will make the big damage in the mid game, because on the side of Sphinx you've got Lil Uzi 3 and 1, and KZZ is sitting on 2 kills. You said it is not enough, and well, he does need more items if he wants to be useful, but I feel like these are the 2 players that we will be mostly looking at to supply the damage.
They're going to be the main damage dealers in those little fights for Sphinx. It's still going to be Birdie. As well, he has been playing this laning phase really well, I have to admit. He has been just farming over and over again. He hasn't overstepped once, at least in this laning phase thus far, which is why KZZ hasn't stumbled out of control and isn't going to be as big of a threat as he could be normally.
Oh, flash another grasp onto KZZ. He has nowhere to run. Flash ignite from Vega. However, no follow-up is available. Goldfight finds his knockup. Prompo in the front line. He has to flash away. Heavian now has joined the fight. Finds the stun onto the jungler of Sphinx. Neither side wants to offer commit. So many summoners burn. So many cooldowns now used, but no kills.
I'm going to say that the most important summoner spell that was expended in that fight was that flash on Lil Uzi, trying to engage. However, Vega wasn't in position to try and get the taunt off, and in result they were unable to get the chain CC down, and alas, it didn't turn into anything that fight around. But I want to point your attention, Birdie still hasn't been back. He's backing now. It is the
that is a
Triforce
at 15 minutes. That is a big power spike if you ask me.
It is a really big power spike, especially this early on. Once again, 140 creeps. That's pretty much pro levels of farming at this point. And well, combined it with Kleptomancy, you're going to be having a really, really strong Ezreal at this point in the game. And Sphinx now can start to do something.
The dragon, though, will be secured by Chimaera. They use the few seconds of peace they have. And also, you know, Triforce on Birdie, huge power spike, but you also finally have got the Storm Razor on KZZ, and he will also deal a lot of damage if you keep him unchecked.
Agreed with you there. However, KZZ Storm Razor will be less of a threat than Ezreal's Triforce at this point as well. Caitlyn does spike heavily around that one item. You see that he just deals half HP, even more with just that ultimate alone, and that is just what happens when you overstep as that Ezreal against the Caitlyn. But if any team fight breaks out, I do believe that Birdie is going to have the upper hand.
Now Prompo, he's actually trying to solo kill Go Commit in that jungle.
Okay.
Well, that is an interesting interaction. I didn't know that Stun Unit is interrupted by this. Can Prompo actually finish off the kill in time? Looks like the answer is no. Go Commit finds the knockup with the Elastic Slingshot, and then Baker gets the kill. Go Commit gets out alive.
And Sejuani did get some buffs to her base damage on a couple of her abilities, but alas, well, it's not going to be enough to get this lovely green man down. Really crucial that he survived there. And well, once again, that is just one more kill going over into the pockets of the side of Sphinx, and they're going to be really happy with how this game has been playing out for them thus far, because they didn't really want to snowball, they just wanted to go even, and so far they have achieved that.
Yeah, only a very marginal 500 gold lead for Chimaera. They will now be sending their duo lane up to top lane, try to break some of these turrets and actually get yourself some gold. Herald is also an objective that they could be looking at, but Sphinx, they just commit a defense of their own and successfully prevent the topside tower from falling.
And the top lane turret could have been taken by Nizig, however he was spooked by the lovely big man in the form of Empaker not just a few minutes ago, so it's still standing, and it is a really crucial fortress for the side of Sphinx, at least right now, as it does hold access to Rift Herald.
Heavian will get caught out in the jungle. Stretching strike, slow him. Lolozy has got that nether. Oh, a good flash away, and the blast come from Heavian will actually get him to safety. Nice play to avoid that nether grasp, which would pretty much seal his fate. Now in that top lane, teleport is being committed. Lolozy finally uses his nether grasp, and the triumphant roar is there.
Oh no,
double knockup onto Birdie. He will survive, but not his support. Lolozy gets the kill to Godfight. Prompo is looking for the Ezreal, and a double kill from KZ. He flashes forward. Lolozy is all but dead as he buys some time with a stopwatch, and a triple kill for the Caitlyn. Now in the mid lane, Heavian versus Go Commit, but that is so much damage from the Syndra. Go Commit, he just doesn't have enough. However, Heavian, he is dropping low, and Go Commit actually gets the kill in the end. I probably got too excited, but that was a beautiful outplay.
That was so many Qs missed by Heavian there. That is really unfortunate for him. Well played in the all chat. Thank you. I feel like that is deserved at this point to give some praise over to Go Commit. Well, things are starting to look a bit heated. However, Chimaera, they are still sitting at a gold lead, and even though Heavian died, most of these kills that have been transpired are still going to be sitting on Go Commit and Empaker, and that isn't the biggest carries that you want your kills on.
Yeah, I mean, you know, as we move into that mid game, we are slowly reaching the Baron respawn, and you have got 4 kills on Lil Uzi, no kills onto Birdie. I think that he definitely needs to pick up some more to be useful, and there is a slight goal lead for Chimaera. Mostly now, thanks to KZ getting that triple in the top side, he will be a very scary Caitlyn sitting on those 2 items.
Yeah, he has finished that rapid fire cannon, which is one of the strongest power spikes for Caitlyn in the early game. A game announcement on kill Rift Herald minion. Okay, that's what just happened there.
The Rift Herald decided to go back to the void.
Okay, well, I believe that may have been just on my screen. Regardless, it was a nice little spaghetti code from our lovely overlords, in the case of Riot Game. And now, well, there may be a little fight happening in this bot side river, as both teams are just starting to group around.
Promo goes over the wall onto Empaker, and so also this available, but no flash. He will just get caught up. Oh, Godfight does not fight it, but look at Goku case in the backline, and there is so much chase ACC, a shutdown onto KZZ. Is found already the 3rd kill going in favor of Sphinx. Heavian will get torn out by Vega. The Syndra will find the return kill with the unleashed power. Nizik in the backside of the fight will escape as well, but a beautiful engage from Sphinx gets them 3 kills. They are looking for 4th. Go Commit is looking for Heavian, but the kill will be donated to Birdie and Sphinx. They are coming back.
And what a perfect turnaround for Sphinx to get back into this game. They needed to snowball, or sorry, that wasn't them, it's okay. They needed to get a couple of kills on that Birdie. They are going to be letting that bird fly free now, and well, it was a bit unfortunate that Godquite just knocked Impaker out of that fight, and he's not going to be able to deal with that dragon, but really just a perfect engage from Malzahar and Viga. He has missed so many taunts this game, but now he finally comes up clutch with a triple taunt, I believe it was. May have been a double one, regardless, it won them the fight. And now, Sphinx, they're going to be definitely firmly in the control over this game.
Chimaera, they are going straight for the Baron, and the side of Sphinx, they are aware of it. Vega is already there. Both junglers are alive. That is already Glacial Prison connecting onto the support. Heavian already bursts him down. There is the Nethergrass. KZ is already dropping down. So is Heavian, and Sphinx, they're just winning this fight. Double kill going already for the Birdie Secure. And the 3 members of Game, they're trying to run away. The Aztec Studio not quite connecting. Godfight jumps onto Birdie, who gets himself a triple kill. Will get bursted down now. Nizik, he's making work. Godfight drops. It is a 4-4-3. Can Nizik go 1 versus 2 against Impaker and go commit? The decimating smash does not find Oga, but finds himself the damage. Nizik, he's so close to that range bar. Can he remount? He will not in the end. That is an ace for 3 in favor of Sphinx.
And well, they won't be able to take the Baron, but it's still important that they stop that Baron attempt and that they manage to get themselves a couple of kills. Now you do have 4 kills sitting on Birdie, and once again, just so crucial from every single member of Sphinx right now that they work together in cohesion. That was their biggest strength in the first game, and they are coming up clutch once again. And I have to say, teleport on Ezreal won them that fight, as if you had taken heal, you wouldn't be able to do that, and that is something that you mentioned in the pick and ban phase. Well, the game has been paused, but returning.
Discord issue, that is so anticlimactic. But
okay,
man, we are getting these fights, and one point I want to bring forward. In the early game, I kind of shoved it aside because I thought, well, it's not that huge of a priority, but right now, KZZ has been shut down out of the fights twice because of Lil Uzi. When is the time to finally get the QSS?
Right now.
That is the question.
Right now. He should be getting the QSS right freaking now. I do not know why he is opting for a pickaxe instead of just building purely the QSS. He needs to be able to survive in these fights because Lil Uzi always either flashes or just walks up in. He gets the Nether Grasp down, and at that point, KZZ cannot get away. Sure, Caitlyn does have the jump away with that nice little net, but that isn't far enough. You cannot run away from the entire team of Sphinx. They just get onto the primary target so quickly, and at that point there isn't anything that they can do. Syndra isn't enough of a threat just yet. Well, right now things are starting to look really damn good for Sphinx. They're starting to get ahead. Birdie has finished that mana immune. It will take a while to get into the form of Mirror Mana, but it's still looking really good for them so far.
And Go Commits engages have been so on point, always finding these carries, letting Lil Uzi just set up with his Nether Grasp, and you know, the engages are just working very well. We saw actually Chimaera initiate that fight with the Glacial Prison landing onto Vega, and it still just was not enough. You need to make sure that Lil Uzi cannot find the Nether Grasp, and it is so damn difficult if you do not have your QSS.
It really is so difficult, but I have to criticize Chimaera in this regard because Prompo always engages. Sure, that is something that Sejuani is meant to do, but Godquite is never there to peel for KZZ. And, well, sure, Lil Uzi always has that passive barrier up, which really makes sure that Godquite cannot knock him away, but it is still something that you have to at least try to do. You have to cancel that Nether Grasp as soon as you can, because if you don't, the entire team of Sphinx is just going to barrel on top of KZZ, who is meant to be the primary carry right now. If Caitlyn ever gets caught out, she dissipates. She just disappears. She turns into gas. I don't know how.
Obliterates. Just
Obliterates.
Give me some more words. I don't know.
I don't know. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you just have to peel for her. And so far, Chimaera have been unable to do so. Both on their, well, inability to shut Lil Uzi down, but also on top of the good
The
engagement.
Baron is now started, and Chimaera, they do not look like they want to contest. They should be aware of it happening. They will be moving up the river right now, but the Baron is already on 4,000 health. Prompo has got this might. He has got the means to get into the pit. He will get zoned away though, and a clean execution of the Baron, but the fight is now in full swing. Lil Uzi is already down. Goku in jungle will get interrupted on his engage. Cases and Hivian, they are still untouched in the background. Look at these carries they are doing, or but so is Birdie, and the fight will be undecided. Only one kill going so far. Nizik in that bot side, he's still split pushing his side. Hivian fights forward, that's why they stand onto 2. There goes Godfight with the double stun. Prompo tries to go over the wall, finds some more lockdown onto Birdie or Cool Commit, but will not be able to find it. Nizik still in that bot side, will finally be able to break open the inhibitor, and even though Sphinx find the Baron, it is Chimaera now who get themselves the advantage.
And this is the fight that Chimaera needed to fight this entire time. Nizik won't get the inhibitor. Oh no, that is just a sad tale. But once again, this is the difference between every single team fight that we have seen so far and this one. Because KZZ was in the back line. He was just able to survive the entire fight. He was peeled for. Lil Uzi could not get on top of him, nor could anyone else. You had Prompo and Nizik in the front line together with Godfly, and Hivian and KZZ were perfectly behind, just dealing damage. And this is how every single fight has to go for Chimaera. They have to engage it themselves. And well, if it keeps on going like this, Chimaera can definitely win that. Also, I want to correct myself. Sorry, Nizik wasn't there. Nizik was pushing in the bot lane. But still, my point stands. They could have even won the team fight if Nizik had his teleport up to be able to teleport into the fight.
Also in that fight, Gokume tried to go twice for the elastic slingshot. Once interrupted with a pulverize, I believe the second time it was Scattered the Weak. And if Hivian and Godfrey and Prompo as well with the Arctic Assault utilize their tools properly, they can deny pretty much every engage that Gokume jungle tries to go for. Important point before the next fight looks like to be imminent. KZ finally has got the QSS.
Oof, lovely.
That is a stun landing on the burn Sukira. He nearly gets bursted down. Ace in the hole, not enough damage will be blocked by Gokume. That was a close call from Sphinx, and the Infernal Drake is now on the cards. Gokume tries to go into the pit. He will contest the Drake. Hivian is sitting behind the pit, making sure no one can help him. Oh, Gokume will steal the dragon, and he captures 2 members. That is Prompo and Godfight though. KZ is still dishing out damage, uninterrupted. Like Lil Uzi flashes forward, but there is the QSS, and Lil Uzi falls down. KZ tries to get out, and he will be able to survive in the end. The fight is still in the full swing. Hivian tries to get out. Godfight will get taken down by Mpaker. There goes Bailey Zukira. Hivian picks himself up the shutdown. KZ is kiting back to go commit jungle. He will be able to make he will be able to make it to safety under his own turret. Hivian now 1 versus 2 will get slowed down and shut down in the end. And this fight is just all over the place.
Well, KZZ survived just on the back of that lovely QSS. You mentioned it. One of the most important points in that entire fight. KZZ was just able to survive. Lil Uzi tried to do something, but if you have QSS, you don't need any peel at this point. You can just do it yourself. And even though that, well, the bringing of Let's Bounce over the wall with 2 low health members was good from Gokume. It was really nicely done. There wasn't any damage that they could really do, and they did chase Chimaera back away, but now there are so many Baron buffs just gone from the side of Sphinx, and well, they have lost a lot of advantage in that single fight.
And the game is pretty much dead on even at 28 minutes. KZZ, he's looking towards his 3rd item. Birdie already has a death cap, looks to be the next pickup by Lil Uzi, whereas Hivian, he will be itemizing for also something that isn't a death cap. Please help me out with the items.
He will likely be going for a Banshee's Veil, I believe, as well. Sorry, were you talking about Hivian or Lil Uzi?
Hivian.
Hivian.
Bash's Veil makes sense against Go Commit, and any initial engage will likely not help him with the Nether Grasp, since Lil Uzi will have to wait and pick his target correctly. Now, that is a 5-man siege mid lane from the side of Sphinx, but KZZ spilled over Peacemaker provides enough wave clear for now.
And Hivian isn't there, so that could have been a really bad fight for Chimaera. Luckily, there'll be a really big wave in the bot lane that things are going to have sent someone to at least, you know, try to control it. And so far, things are going to just go and relax for the side of Chimaera. And, well, KZZ is going to be hitting his Infinity Edge really soon. He has already that BF Sword, that pickaxe, and as soon as he hits it, his power spike is going to be, again, so strong. He's going to be doing so much damage in these team fights, and at that point, it's going to be important that Chimaera try to engage those fights themselves, that it isn't Sphinx, because you likely won't find a better position for yourself to try and find a really good fight.
Gokumei tries to go into the middle, and he does bring back Paces and the flash forward. He brings him back with the 3 members. And Lil Uzi tries to go back. He's just bursted down by Hivian. Both guys still have KZ is dropping low. Shutdown goes in favor of Viga. Hivian is alive in that backline. Double knockup from Godfight with that pulverize. And Viga, he's looking for what he's looking for Hivian, but he does not find a damn thing. Here comes Mpaker with that Assault Ball. So double knockup with the R16 shot from Gokumei. Birdie Zukira on the backline. He's dishing out the damage. Prompo is running very low. He will not get taken down yet. Flashes over the Ghost Line. Double knock up on that Alistar. And the members of Sphinx are falling low. A double kill for Hivian as Birdie Zukira finds a return kill onto Godfight. And these fights just refuse to go decisively. But that is a fairly good fight for Chimaera. 4-4-2 in the end.
That is a really good fight for Chimaera. The Baron is up. They can just go and decide to take it. That is such a long death timer for Gokumit. Sure, they do not have Kaden there just yet, so it won't be going down too terrifyingly fast, but Hivian still has a constant DPS, so it's going down at a reasonable pace, but it is so important that we see all of these engagements from Gokumit, but Birdie was not there. He wasn't in that team fight. He couldn't deal so much damage as, you know, you would have with him. He's the primary carry.
The Baron is going very slow. Lil Uzi is making his way there. Birdie, he's just killing Prompo, who will barely survive. The Baron is now on 3000 health, and Sphinx can just do that. That is the jungler down for the side of Chimaera. The Baron is available. No jungler in the vicinity. Which team will get the Baron? No spine available. It will be Hivian with that Syndra getting the Baron. Now Nisek is locked down with the Nether Grass. He will survive as he takes down Viga. Now Gokumit, he's jumping in. That's KZZ who gets knocked up and deleted by Birdie. Godfight in the Baron pit. No way to escape. A double kill for Birdie Zukira. And Nisek, the only person from Chimaera that is alive, will have to defend for the next 14 seconds to wait for his jungler.
And he really cannot do too terrifyingly much right now. The entirety of mid lane is open. Luckily for him, the top lane isn't going to be pushing in just yet, but that is definitely going to be the inhibitor. As Gokumit just jumps in, he waves hello. That was such a good fight for Sphinx to just find at such a crucial moment, finding that kill in the Prompo. And now they are just trying to chase them away. It won't be anything else, but really important that they didn't have that Baron buff, as that could have been really the game deciding point at that in this point in the game. And now Infernal Drake will likely be their next step.
The second Inferno will be so useful, especially on Lil Uzi. There goes the charge into the pit. Prompo, he will look for some sort of lockdown, but he's just locked down with the Nether Grass himself. Now Nisek already gets Lil Uzi. The Drake is still tagged. Blue team will take it. Gokumit smites it down, but the carries for Chimaera, they are untouched. Birdie is already down. KZZ and Hivian, they're free to dish any damage they want. 3 members fall down. A double kill for Hivian. The cell division from Gokumit will be there. He's now chased down by Prompo. The Winter's Wrath gets the slow as well as the permafrost for the stun. Prompo, he's just looking to get the 4th kill of that fight. Nisek is split pushing on the inhibitor in the meantime. And Chimaera, they could be just winning the game right now, but they decide to go through the mid lane. The bot lane inhibitor finally falls in the end.
I am so puzzled by that decision. Why did they just decide to go into the mid lane? They could have definitely ended there. the death timers are so long right now, but they decide to clear out these super minions.
Prompo is actually on the bad side of that trade. Also, while I was talking, it was going on. Nizik will assist his jungler. The true shot barrage is coming through, will be dodged away by Prompo, and the jungler for Sphinx is in a 1 versus 2 situation. He will try to make it out, but the permafrost secures the stun, as well as the mid lane inhibitor now. So Chimaera, they get themselves 2 inhibitors, but the game is still going on.
They could have definitely gotten something more out of that, but instead they decided to chase Gokumid around, and they had gone for just 1 more inhibitor. Well, it is still going to be a really good fight for them. They could have got more out of it, but alas, we are going to see this game be stalled out at least a bit more. However, all of these players are going to be hitting their 4th items just shortly, and as I say that, Hivian picks up that Rabadons. That is going to be a lot of burst damage coming from this lovely mage.
And right now, we saw Sphinx coming to this game through these fights. They need to do the same thing. The problem is that Chimaera, they have learned from the mistakes. KZZ has got the Mercurial Scimitar. Hivian has got the Banshee's Veil. There is so much peel right now going in favor of Chimaera. Godfrey, I rarely see him engage in the fights. He is there to peel for KZZ, and that is what has been consistently winning Chimaera the fight. The Baron will not be spawning anytime soon, and with 2 inhibitors, the team of Chimaera, they are in a good spot. They just need to make sure to stay safe.
Gokumid now, he is overextending a bit there. Luckily, he will just be able to run back. It may now be Prompo and Hivian who are going to be a bit caught out, but, well, looks like nothing is going to happen just yet.
Nizik just goes in with the charge. Nice interrupt with that elastic slingshot. Will not mean much in the end. Oh, Birdie secure. He's just gonna get bursted out. But the only case that gets the kill with the ace in the hole. That is the AD carry for Sphinx now. Now can Gokumid get the crucial engage they need. He gets 2 tanks back into the front. I never grasp is still able. Look for the ult. See how he decides to use that. He gets knocked out by Godfrey. He gets the kill onto the Mazaha. And the side of Sphinx, they have only tanks left. 5 versus 3. Can they defend the game? And Paker is just bursting. He's melting. He cannot do a lot. Vigor is left for that. Hivian is on a killing spree. Now 2 members left. Gokumid and then Paker versus the entire stack of Chimaera. The first Nexus turret falls down. The second one is under attack. Gokumid tries to go in with the elastic shield, but it just is not enough. And Chimaera, they will take the series 2-1.
Wow, that was a reverse sweep, and a really beautiful one from Chimaera. It was sloppy, it was brutal, it was bloody, but it was a lovely game nonetheless. And KZZ, well, I think that from today on, we can just say that if you give this man a Caitlyn, he will be able to win well, not every single fight. He's going to be able to win out a lot of these fights. But Chimaera, they didn't really shine too individually, they shined as a unit. And that is something that they were lacking in the first one, cohesion and consistency. And in these 2 games, they really proved to us that they can compete with the likes of the teams that are going to be likely going into the middle of the scoreboard.
And yeah, that is the question we asked for Chimaera. Can they actually get off the tough start, the double 0-2 against Topaz and Onyx? Now they get themselves a 1-2. Not a clean win, but a win nevertheless. You cannot take anything away from these guys. But you know, also this side of Sphinx, they played very well. Not necessarily in game 2, but the same can be said for Chimaera in game 1. But overall, a very competitive series, I have to say. And you know, let's talk about the players that actually stood out. The first person I want to mention is Gokumid Jungle. Game 1 and 3, he has been very crucial on that Zac. Towards the end of the last game, as we've seen, he wasn't really able to get the strong engages, but that was mostly due to what Chimaera had to offer. And overall, he was just performing really well.
Yeah, Gokumid, he was, again, as it was in the past, he's been one of the, okay, not one of the most important member of Sphinx. He pretty much made sure that they were able to get ahead in the first game and that they were even in the second one. The lanes were not supposed to get ahead, sure, There was some attempts in the bot lane. We saw Birdie playing really well into KZZ with that Ezreal being super safe, which was what he needed to do. Gokumid instead went over to mid lane. He snowballed Lil Uzi and it looked like things were going to go great from there. But then a couple of fights and KZZ was literally untouched. So really sloppy focusing. And well, it just turned the game around once again. But yes, Gokumid, he played such a crucial role in the Sphinx composition, and the same can be said for Prompo. He is the bit of an unsung hero of the series. However, he's found so many good engages. Every single fight was almost every single fight was caused because of him and that glacial prison. And well, again, I do believe that he deserves a shout out. But every single game that was won through cohesion and clear communication, not only because of the lane stomping. That can be said about the first one. Or sorry, not the first one, the second one, where Chimaera just individually outshined thanks to the picks and bans that they managed to give themselves. And I think that it's going to be the story for the entire Wintersplit. It has been and it will be. Just how cohesive you can be, how can you function as a unit, because again, that sets apart the great teams from good ones. And well, we definitely saw the better team win today, I think I can say.
Definitely, and let's take a look at the MVP votes. Sphinx, Gokumid Jungle is the clear favorite. No questions there. He gets by far the most votes, and we already talked about him. So how about we move on to the side of Chimaera, because people are undecided. Guys, if you haven't voted already, the links are in the chat. But Nizik right now seems to have the most points.
He does have most of the points. In the series, okay, let me just check. He did play Scion in the second game, in the first one, in the third one. So in the third one he played, of course, Kled, but you could say he was an unsung hero. However, he didn't really function as the person that was meant to get ahead, which is something that you tend to do as a Kled. You tend to always get even as the top laner. It really is an island, and he really functioned as that big barrier between himself and the rest of his team. He peeled really well. He was in the front line. He was always making sure that his backline was safe, and he also got a lot of good engages, a lot of good roams, and you can commend him for it. But once again, it's not about really individual outplays, it was about function as a unit, and Nizik was a really, really important part in the Chimaera lineup today.
Well, I mean, is there anything else that you want to say before we wrap up the stream?
Well, what I want to say is most likely the outro. Good luck, everyone. The ranked season will be starting in just a few days. It has been rescheduled. It's been put away by 1 day, so you know, America and their goddamn holidays. But good luck in the solo queue. Please, guys, don't tilt off the face of the earth. The patch notes are, by the way, up for 9.2, so you can go read them and just speculate on what you can pick in the upcoming one. I haven't read them yet, but I will definitely do so. Maybe tonight even. Maybe if I find the time. And yeah, just enjoy season 9. It's gonna be a good one.
Hopefully it will be, guys, and don't forget to follow us on Twitch, subscribe to us on YouTube, and follow us on Twitter. We are also on Facebook if you are still using that, and on Battlefy, but there will be some tournaments after the Wintersplit is done. If you are new and you are tuning in for the first time, we have a Discord. Feel free to join in down below. And my name was Kachkam, and I was joined by Kerim, and we wish you good night.
Bye.